cruising back. The last 2 weeks has nearly 200 rushing yards now.
Taj Boyd's defense allowed 49 points in a loss to Florida State last week. The Tigers looking for a better performance on the road against Boston College.
Welcome to Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
It should be a duel today in Chestnut Hill. Taj Boyd of Clemson was the best quarterback in the ACC last year. He thrives in the Tigers' up-tempo offense, and he's on the verge of smashing Clemson's record for touchdown passes. And for Boston College, not since Matt Ryan has an Eagles quarterback put up the kinds of numbers we're seeing from Chase Reddick. BC is the #1 passing attack in the ACC. Welcome to the ACC on ESPN. And welcome to college football presented by 5 Hour Energy. All a part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. Today, a matchup in the ACC as Clemson comes to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen alongside Danny Cannell. Maria Taylor will join us in just a moment. We have seen Clemson so far this year put up some pinball numbers on offense. They're without one of their big weapons today. We've got injury news as we approach kickoff. Having said that, though, it seems to be an offense that doesn't lack for a lot of weapons, even if Sammy Watkins can't go.
Taj Boyd, their quarterback, has a plethora of NFL talent to work that ball around to. Even without Sammy Watkins in the game, he still has Andre Ellington and DeAndre Hopkins on the outside. This Clemson team actually put up better numbers without Sammy Watkins in their first 2 games, so shouldn't be too much of a letdown, but it'll still be a challenge. Frank Spaziani put it best. He said, hey, it's like catching a bunch of rabbits out there. It's just one less rabbit to catch.
Watkins, it was announced this week, obviously out of the game with an abdominal virus. Having said that, all of those rabbits need to keep on putting up some points because the folks down in Clemson country are not that excited about the defensive numbers they've seen up so far this year.
Well, they hired new defensive coordinator Brent Venables for a very specific purpose. That was to get this defense turned around. It hasn't happened yet, in large part because they're still getting used to a new scheme. So he's going to try to simplify it today, let his best talent go out there and just get after the football.
Now, as good as Taj Boyd has been, as good as Clemson has been offensively, the #1 passing offense in the ACC is here in Chestnut Hill.
Chase Reddick has really impressed me. He has come so far along in this new offense under new offensive coordinator Doug Martin. He is making great decisions with the football, spreading it around, and his touchdown to interception ratio is much more impressive.
Chase Reddick off to a terrific start. The Eagles take the field. It's Parents Weekend here at Boston College, and we're just about set to get it kicked off. BC and Clemson in just a moment here in Chestnut Hill. It's a murky day here in Boston. We were expecting rain, though. Rain now not in the forecast. Maria Taylor is down on the field and joins us now. And Maria, that might bode well for these teams that like to throw the football.
Yeah, you're right. Boston College may lead the league in passing, but they're trying to find the answer in the run game, guys. Sophomore Taj Kimball is out. He injured himself on Thursday of the bye week. Frank Spaziani has had to shuffle around his depth chart. He actually moved Rolandon Finch, the team's second leading rusher, to 3rd on the depth chart. And I was out here at pre-games. He was not dressed out at all. So that means that we're going to see the freshman, David Dudek, who moved from safety to running back over the week. And we're also going to see Andre Williams carrying the load. They want him to receive about 80% of the carries today, guys.
And they'll want him to carry the football, maybe to control the clock, to try and keep Clemson's speed under control. As the Tigers, they lost the toss. Boston College won the toss, deferred their option to the second half. So, Danny, we are going to see that Clemson offense out there to begin the game, and they can move it up and down the field.
They stretch the field vertically, maybe as good as anybody in the entire country. Last week against Florida State, you see the 3 guys across the board you're going to have to worry about, and they basically run right by Florida State's defense. That's DeAndre Hopkins. If you are the last line of defense, you better make sure you don't let anybody get behind you.
Taj Boyd off to a terrific start, nearly 1,000 yards passing through the first 4 games of the season. And there's DeAndre Hopkins, who last year had 72 catches, 978 yards, 5 touchdowns. That was good for the 4th most receptions and 6th most yards in Clemson history. But it paled in comparison and was barely paid attention to because of the numbers that Sammy Watkins put up as he set Clemson records across the board. So it will be the NASCAR offense of the Clemson Tigers on the field to begin. Nate Freese sends it deep, and we are underway here in Chestnut Hill. Andre Ellington from the 5. Gets to the edge. He's got some blockers. on the perimeter. And it'll be great field position for Clemson to start at their own 43-yard line for Taj Boyd. So the junior so far this season, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, off to a great start.
I'm excited about both these young quarterbacks. Taj Boyd really coming into his own under Chad Morris's system, distributing the ball around to all his weapons and making great decisions and improving on what he's able to do with his legs.
It'll be Ellington on first down into the heart of the BC defense and moves the pile for close to 6 yards. That'll set up at least 2nd down and 5, if not 2nd down and 4. Dominic Apia made the stop. And Taj Boyd heads over to the sideline as it looks like they're going to line up with a wildcat formation on 2nd down. Ellington set to take the direct snap. Andre Ellington on a keeper. Brought down about 3 yards shy of a first down. So 3rd down and 3 coming up as we take a look at Danny Cannell's keys for the Clemson Tigers.
Well, offensive coordinator Chad Morris stressed the importance of getting the first down each drive. Each time they touch the ball, their statistics improve dramatically. They score 62% of the time when they do.
Boyd tries to throw for it on 3rd down and short hops it. So Boston College's defense gets the 3rd down stop, 3 downs and out, and that is a wasted opportunity for Clemson. Great field position, but BC will get the football. And what kind of stress, Danny, does it put on a defense that's struggling the way Clemson is if your offense goes up-tempo and goes 3 downs and out?
Well, then you're going to be on the field a whole lot throughout the game. So that's a big part of this offensive philosophy, is to sustain drives.
That kick a mile in the air from Spencer Benton, and Spiffy Evans makes the fair catch at the 16-yard line. So a 34-yard punt, but it does pin Boston College inside the 20-yard line. And BC with Chase Reddick at the helm, #1 in the ACC and number 11 in FBS throwing the football, 317 yards per game, 6 touchdowns against 1 interception. And he's a junior that really seems to be very much in command of what is a somewhat complicated offense at times for Doug Martin, although they've simplified the language.
If there was a most improved award for quarterback play in the ACC, Chase Reddick would win it hands down.
A toss to Andre Williams. They try to play power football on 1st down and lose a yard. Brady Jarrett there to make the stop.
Yeah, I've seen Chase Reddick really mature and develop as a quarterback in this new system under offensive coordinator Doug Martin. He just feels more comfortable out there. The language, the terminology is more quarterback friendly. It's easier to speak, and it's really showing on the field.
Now, BC at times likes to go up-tempo as well. That time they huddle up and take the play clock down to 13 on 2nd down and long. Play action for Reddick. Rolling out, fires over the middle. He's got Jonathan Coleman in stride. Coleman breaks a tackle, and he's out to the 45-yard line. That's a 1st down for the Eagles. Rashard Hall missed the tackle, and that added about 15 more yards onto the catch for Jonathan Coleman.
Well, here's a look at the play. Chase Reddick's going to come out a little play action. Watch the drag route across the back of the field come open late. Nice job of play action, hiding that football. And then Chase Reddick squares his shoulders around, delivers the perfect pass to Jonathan Coleman.
Coleman is a burner that can take the top off of a defense. Alex Amadon has been the favorite target this year for Reddick. And now a little trick play and a delay. Trying to turn the corner is Bobby Swigert. And he picks up about 8 yards. Swigert, the leading receiver from last season, missed the first 3 games with a knee injury this year. And his first snap offensively, a little misdirection play.
Look at right here. We'll keep an eye on him right there. He's hidden from the defense. He's tucked behind the offensive line. Chase Reddick takes it, slips it right under there to Bobby Swigert. You see all the misdirection going the opposite way.
2nd down and 2. Andre Williams pulls his way for a BC 1st down.
You know, it's interesting. Boston College comes out with a little trickery early in the game. Of course, on the other side of the ball, their defense was paranoid about all the trick plays that Clemson does. It's like Boston College doesn't want to be left out of the mix either. They want to show something on their own.
And we were watching some tape of not only the different formations and all the different trickeration at times that Clemson uses, including having their offensive line kind of stand there as a dummy blocking group, and then BC kind of took something out of their playbook. Now it's the true freshman David Dudek in as the lone setback on 1st and 10. Reddick straight back. Dumps one over the middle. That's about a 5-yard completion to C.J. Parsons, the tight end. As we take a look at the Boston College impact players, brought to you by Longhorn Steakhouse.
Well, Chase Reddick is having a spectacular year in large part because of his wide receiver, Alex Amadon, leading the ACC. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they have found an outstanding replacement for Luke Kuechly and Nick Clancy. He is leading the country in tackles per game, and Kevin Pierre-Louis is not far behind.
Draw play on 2nd and 5. Williams made the first man miss and picked up 3. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for Boston College. Tig Willard with the tackle for the Tigers.
You know, it was interesting. This Boston College offense has really gained a lot of confidence from the past couple years. They haven't been able to move the ball through the air, and now it's kind of the script has flipped. They are not running the ball too well, but they're passing the ball amazingly well.
3rd down and 2, Reddick in the gun. 4-man rush, well protected all day to throw, and that's tipped away from Amadon and incomplete. Darius Robinson got a hand in. Now it's 4th down and 2 at the +36. Let's see what Boston College does. They might leave their offense on the field and go for it on 4th and 2.
Well, they're bringing out some bigger bodies in this 4th down and 2 situation. I wouldn't be surprised if they slip the fullback Jake Sinkovic out into the flat. Maybe some play action here. It is a long 2 to get this on the ground.
Clemson is 103rd in the country against the run through the first few weeks of the season.
Now they gave him the hard count, trying to draw Clemson off sides.
They snap it on 4th and 2, and they'll try and run for it. And now flags fly. Either that or a timeout was called.
Timeout, Clemson.
It was Clemson calling a defensive timeout.
Probably a good timeout for Clemson. I think Boston College could have had the edge for the 1st down.
So Dabo Swinney brings his defense over. 4th and 2. We'll see if BC goes for it when we come back.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Boston College and Clemson on a day that was supposed to be filled with some rain, but just overcast conditions, and 2 up-tempo offenses, and the first big play of the game as BC will indeed go for it on 4th down and 2 at the Clemson 36. 4-man rush. Reddick with all day to throw. Wide open underneath. C.J. Parsons makes the dive and catch. That's a gain of 6 and a 4th down conversion.
A big throw by Chase Reddick right there. For them, they've got to balance things out on offense. We talked about their success with the passing game. Need to mix in a little bit more of that run game, find some stability at the running back position. And then on defense, they need to make Clemson drive the length of the field, put together drives, and don't give up big plays.
9th play of this opening drive for Boston College. Back to the ground at Andre Williams. He's into the secondary. There goes Williams. Touchdown, BC.
What a great block by the fullback, Jenks. Watch number 41 pull across and come up and lead the way for Andre Williams. Outstanding kick-out block right there. And then Andre Williams takes the rest away on his own. That's the running game. That's the balance that Boston College has needed.
We knew something had to give when you've got the 103rd ranked defense against the run, against the 114th ranked offense on the ground. One or the other has to have a good day, and so far it's Boston College on the ground that gets off to the good start. Andre Williams caps a 9-play touchdown drive for the Eagles.
ESPN College Football is presented by 5 Hour Energy. hours and hours of energy.
Now, when you tailgate on Parents' Weekend at Chestnut Hill, you don't just make the burgers and dogs. We're in New England. You make the lobster. And it's tailgating week presented by Kingston Charcoal, so why not? Here we go. So I'm breaking a cloth.
There you
Here
go.
you go, Danny. Here
All
we go.
right.
Come on.
You got to get dirty.
This is a big day
you don't even
for
have
us.
a bib right there.
Nice.
We're smelling up
We
the
are
whole booth,
just
but it is
making
good.
a disastrous mess up here. But it is good. I'm going to have some of this. Boston College with the early lead. And here's Ellington from the goal line. BC pins Clemson deep as we head back to Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you. This game, under a minute to play. It's Miami and NC State on ESPNU, and it's been back and forth all afternoon, tied at 37. Stephen Morris isn't going to give up his scrambles, ultimately finds Philip Dorsett. Extra point is good. Miami, 44-37 in the closing seconds.
Well, Miami with back-to-back thrillers.
Taj Boyd underneath. Has his tight end dragging across the middle. That's Brandon Ford. That should be good for a Clemson first down. And that Wendy Nix update could not have come at a better time, because if you think I didn't eat that lobster claw while we were back in the studio, you better believe it. That was good.
Oh, it was outstanding.
Boyd on a keeper. There goes Taj Boyd. Dragged down. Sean Sylvia saved what could have been a 30 to 40 yard play and kept it at only a 15-yard gain for Taj Boyd.
Here's a look at Taj Boyd sticking the ball in that zone read, decides to keep it himself, and that's an area he has improved greatly upon this year, and a point of emphasis for this Clemson offense.
Ellington bounces off one tackler and squeezes out about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 as we take a look at Clemson's impact players, brought to you by Longhorn Steakhouse.
First thing you'll notice, they're both on offense. We didn't find one on defense who has made an impact, but Andre Ellington and DeAndre Hopkins have NFL speed. Andre in the backfield and DeAndre Hopkins outside.
Boyd, play action fake under some pressure. Gets it out on the edge, and Brandon Ford brought down after a gain of a yard. Actually, it lost about 1.5 yards, so it'll be 3rd down and long. Kevin Pierre-Louis there to bring down Brandon Ford. So BC in another spot where their defense can get off the field. 3rd down and long for Clemson.
We talked about getting those first downs each drive, the importance of that for Clemson.
Boyd, only a 3-man rush, well protected, fires to the sideline, and DeAndre Hopkins has it for a first down.
Well, that's an impressive throw from Taj Boyd. Had pretty good protection by his offensive line, able to let this route develop. You see number 6 just run a little corner route. That's in between 3 BC defenders, a tight window for Taj Boyd.
Ellington gets to the corner. Very close to another Clemson first down at the BC 40-yard line, out of bounds after a gain of 9. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Frank Spaziani, who is a defensive coach, certainly his history, that longtime defensive coordinator at BC before being elevated to head coach. So this is the kind of offense that keeps a defensive coach up nights as you try to get ready. BC brings a blitz, wide open. Adam Humphries all the way to the Boston College 25-yard line. That's 15 more.
Clemson's offense really starting to click. They're finding their rhythm. They tried to bring a corner blitz on that play. Clemson did a nice job picking that blitz up and giving Taj Boyd time to look down the field.
Boyd on a keeper. Slings it to the sideline. That's good for another completion. Jerron Brown is out of bounds with 12 more. Another Clemson first down just inside the BC 13-yard line.
Boy, they moved Taj Boyd all over the field. He can run the ball, but that time moved him out of the pocket. A great job getting his shoulders squared around, make an impressive throw to the left. As hard a throw as you'll have to make as a right-handed quarterback.
Right up the middle goes the sophomore DJ Howard. Nick Clancy, #1 in the country at 14.3 tackles per game. Made the stop for BC.
Nick Clancy's a great story. His career here at Boston College has spanned 5 years. Started off on the bench and worked his way, filled in for Luke Kuechly and doing an outstanding job at that middle linebacker position.
Play action for Boyd. Looking end zone. High throw off the fingertips of Ford. Third down and about 9 coming up from the BC 12-yard line.
Taj Boyd might have missed a touchdown right there. They had a little play action from the backfield. Were able to find a post route. Taj just passed over it.
Boyd well protected, floats one out of bounds. It'll be 4th down. Jerron Brown had no chance to bring that one down, fronted by C.J. Jones. So an 11-play Clemson drive stalls in the red zone, and they will have to settle for a field goal attempt. Coming into today, Clemson was 12 for 16 in terms of possessions in the red zone resulting in touchdowns. That's a good stop for the BC defense.
That's a huge stop. That is the definition of making Clemson work for it, give up a lot of plays, and hopefully only go out with only 3 points.
Chandler Catanzaro, stretching back to last year, is now 16 for his last 16. And Clemson is on the board. Chase Redding and the Boston College offense set to head back out on the field with a 7-3 lead. Bob Wischusen, Danny Cannell, Maria Taylor here in Chestnut Hill. Tailgate Week fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. And with the points that both of these offenses can put on the board, anytime you get a red zone stop and force only a field goal, you have one defensively, in BC just stopped Clemson inside their 15-yard line. Short kickoff coming down to Spiffy Evans at about the 9. And a flag down as Evans is out to about the 23-yard line.
During the return, holding, number 43, 10-yard foul, 1st down.
That'll back Boston College up as we take a look at our Saturday menu. Brought to you by Applebee's and Danny's old team in a sold-out atmosphere against USF as Florida State with a little bit of an in-state road test.
Yeah, they're going to Tampa to take on USF. A lot of people want to see how Florida State responds after the big game last week against Clemson. Can they sustain that level of play?
Florida State put on a second-half offensive show last Saturday night. Redding with a draw play. Williams makes a man miss, picks up a couple of yards. Josh Watson there to make the stop. It'll be 2nd down and long as we check in with Wendy.
Bob, thank you. It's a Taco Bell studio update. Ohio State looking to stay perfect on the road in East Lansing. It's Jordan Hall on the carry. Now a 7-3 ball game. Buckeyes lead by 4. And Baylor and West Virginia, talk about a shootout and talk about a day for Geno Smith. When it was all said and done, the Mountaineers win 70-63.
Welcome to the Big 12, West Virginia. Chase Redding traps one to Andre Williams.
Now, I want to know if they were playing tackle football or was that 7-on-7, because that is an unbelievable offensive performance right there.
That's the kind of score that everyone around the country that wants to knock the Big 12 uses to knock the Big 12. That's fun to call when you're the broadcast team of 70-63. What's more fun than that? But boy, oh boy, that is, if you hold somebody to a field goal in that game, that's like getting a turnover.
It's like arena football.
3rd down and 9 for BC. A chance for Clemson to get off the field and change field position. And BC goes the conservative route. Andre Williams, nowhere near a 1st down. So 3 running plays for Boston College. Travis Blanks makes the stop for Clemson, and BC will have to punt it away.
Little surprised at that 3rd down play call there for Boston College, not letting Chase Redding, who's having such an impressive year, at least survey the field and try to pick up that 1st down. A little conservative here early.
Lovano's punt bounces in plus territory for Clemson, and it was already illegally touched by Boston College. So even if BC recovers that ball, it should stay with Clemson. It looked like BC touched the ball.
They definitely did. And
which
then
frees up Clemson to be able to jump on top of it, not worry about a turnover. The crowd, obviously, and even the BC sideline thought they might have the football. Still in all, that's only a 25-yard punt. So Clemson's going to have it in plus territory. Great field position just outside the BC 40.
Replace at the spot. First down, Clemson.
And a lot of times, if you're a player for Clemson, you can try to get a free play. You'll see here that Boston College player touches it right there. And then you get the green light. If you're a Clemson return guy, you can just pick that up and try to score a touchdown. Worse, even if you fumble it like he did there, you're not going to lose the football.
Now you could see the beanbag thrown in the background by one of the officials, signifying that that was the spot where BC had touched the ball. So you're right, Clemson with no fear of a turnover, and now they've got it at the BC 43-yard line. Taj Boyd looking downfield. Zips one up the seam, and he's got DeAndre Hopkins. And he'll step out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. A gain of 20.
Well, Clemson, they stress you in so many different ways. They give you these crazy ball fakes and play actions in the backfield. And then they've got the speed on the outside. You have constantly got to be on your toes as a BC defender.
Adam Humphries was the man in motion, and instead a gain of 3 for Andre Ellington, who's closing in on 2,800 yards for his career, well inside the top 10 in the country among active players. Dominic Apia made the stop. It'll be 2nd down and 7 at the BC 20 for Clemson. Play action fake for Boyd. Over the middle again. The tight end Brandon Ford. Down close to the 5-yard line where it will be 1st and goal.
Well, that play was really set up by the play action in the backfield. Taj Boyd had that ball deep in that running back's belly. Boston College didn't know where it was. Linebackers are searching for it, and then he pops the pass right over him.
Ellington, no gain on 1st and goal. Maybe a half-yard. It'll be 2nd down and goal from just outside the 5. Nick Clancy and Spencer Rosatano combine on the stop. Lob play for Hopkins. Got it! Touchdown! What a throw by Taj Boyd.
What a throw and catch. Taj Boyd just going to catch it and throw it to a spot in the corner of the end zone. DeAndre Hopkins running underneath it, but as impressive as a catch that was,
a flag was thrown. It's a penalty against Clemson that will back them up outside the 10-yard line and wipe away the touchdown.
It was interesting. I didn't see a flag, but I heard the officials start blowing the whistle after the touchdown catch. And that was a late call. Turns out there was an eligible receiver downfield. A little surprising. He got the ball out pretty quickly there, but that would happen.
So they have to replay 2nd down and goal, and Adam Humphries, a little wide receiver trapped to the 6-yard line. And Will Espria made the stop. That sets up 3rd down and goal as Clemson a moment ago appeared to have the go-ahead touchdown, and instead ineligible man downfield costs them a score.
Here's a look at the touchdown play. Keep an eye on the offensive linemen. There are a bunch of linemen down the field, at least 3 or 4 yards. There's the flag in the middle of the field late. So you saw why that was called. My guess is that was a running play called. Taj Boyd saw something on the outside of DeAndre Hopkins, decided to throw it. The offensive linemen don't know. They're just run blocking up front.
Dabo Swinney spends a timeout for Clemson. So we will step aside for just a moment. 3rd and goal is next. They teach English here at Boston College. You can see they know how to spell. Go BC. That's what that says, by the way, Danny, if you were wondering.
I was trying to pronounce it, Gobica.
Not to knock the English classes you took at Florida State, I'm sure.
No, of course not.
So after the timeout, 3rd down and goal, 3:08 to go in the 1st quarter. Boyd will keep it, run the option, fake the pitch. Taj Boyd into the end zone for the Clemson touchdown. That's his first rushing touchdown of the season, and that puts the Tigers on top.
Boy, what an impressive one-man effort from Taj Boyd. They've run that zone read a couple times. He's given it to the back. He's pitched it here. Watch him stick the ball in the belly, works the line of scrimmage, fakes out the defender, keeps it himself, and he gets those last couple yards all on his own. Pretty impressive.
Catanzaro's extra point is good. We'll step aside for 30 seconds and come right back to Chestnut Hill.
Happy birthday, Boston College.
Happy birthday, Boston College.
Happy birthday, Boston College.
Congratulations, Boston College, on your 150th anniversary.
That's a lot of birthday candles, BC.
Congratulations, BC, on your 150th anniversary.
Happy birthday, Boston College.
Congratulations, BC, on your 150th anniversary.
Happy birthday, Boston College.
Congratulations, BC, on your 150th anniversary. Way to go, BC.
Welcome back to Alumni Stadium, and with Taj Boyd's first rushing touchdown of the season, offensive coordinator Chad Morris says the next step for him is picking up those hidden yards, knowing when to pull the ball down and rush, and you see that he's really taken that to heart here, getting his first rushing touchdown of the season.
And Maria, it was interesting during our conference call with Chad Morris, the offensive coordinator. Danny, he actually put a number on the yards he thinks they have to get rushing out of Taj Boyd to be successful this year.
Yep, he said an extra 13 yards rushing a game. They had very specific goals, what they want Taj Boyd to rush for.
Spiffy Evans from the 2. Into a wall of Tigers at about the 17-yard line. Spencer Shuey was the first there for Clemson, and you can get your NFL Sunday started off right. First, Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Chris Berman and the gang provide all the latest news and updates from stadiums around the league up until kickoff. And then at 11 on ESPN2, Robert Flores, Matthew Berry, Tim Hasselback will give you what you need to know on edge in your leagues with Fantasy Football Now. It's a big Sunday coming up tomorrow in the NFL, but a college football Saturday here at Chestnut Hill. This matchup in the ACC between Clemson and Boston College. BC back to the offense. Redding on a play-action fake. Looking downfield under some pressure. Throws it to Evans off his back foot. And short hops to Spiffy Evans, so it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Boston College trying to take a shot down the field. Pretty good coverage by Clemson. Chase Reddick trying to come late to a comeback route. Might have had a chance if he had some protection, but was getting hit right as he threw and had to throw off balance. This will be an interesting series for Boston College. They were 3 and out the previous series with 3 runs. They want to see if they can get back into that rhythm so they can go toe-to-toe with Clemson.
Reddick drops, swings one left. It's caught by Jake Sinkovic for a gain of only 2. And you'll see Reddick, he goes to the wristband, Danny. Obviously, that's where the plays are kept for BC. Having said that, though, it's still a simplified offense now for Boston College compared to what it used to be.
Oh, without a doubt, the terminology is much easier to speak. You can get the play out quicker in the huddle, so you have more time to survey the field when you come to the line of scrimmage. A much more quarterback-friendly system for Chase Reddick.
BC goes empty, looking for a 3rd down conversion, 3rd and 8. Only a 4-man rush. Reddick under pressure and sacked inside the 10. Deshaun Williams brings him down. He leads Clemson with 4 tackles for loss on the season now. That's his 2nd sack, and BC will have to punt it away.
And that right there was a coverage sack by Clemson. Chase Reddick drops back to pass and really nowhere to throw the football. He's got plenty of protection right there, trying to find a place to dump it off and can't. And Clemson is again going to have incredible field position.
Another ugly punt from Gerald Lovano. A 25-yard kick the last time gave Clemson the short field, and they were able to turn it into a touchdown. That was only a 30-yard kick, and Clemson will have it again in plus territories. We'll take a closer look at some of our news and notes around the ACC. How about Miami? They're 3-0 now in the ACC. But when they went out and got rocked at Kansas State, you thought the Canes might be in some trouble this year. They're off to a great start.
They're a young team. We saw them here early in the season, right up against Boston College with some impressive numbers. They're young. They're getting more and more confident with each game.
We saw a bad loss for Georgia Tech at home as well. Here's DJ Howard. About 3 on first down. Apia and Clancy combine on the tackle for Boston College. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Boyd takes the belly option and heads right up the middle for 7 yards or so. Very close to a first down. It'll be 3rd down and short. Steele DeVito made the stop, and now we've got an injured Clemson Tiger, and that is the right guard Tyler Shatley. He's a great story. A converted fullback that has become the right guard now for Clemson. And that should bring a sophomore Reed Webster into the game to replace Shatley, at least for the time being. Third down and 1. Boyd out of the pistol, gives to Ellington. He's got a first down and then some. Needed a yard and picked up about 4.5 to 5.
Well, a nice block by Reed Webster, number 77, who just came into the game for Tyler Shatley. Got those fresh legs, able to get some push off the ball.
Boyd, a little throwback screen. He's got Hopkins. Hopkins breaking tackles, heading south instead of north, and ends up, after running about 35 yards in total, he picked up 7. Brian Mahalik brought down DeAndre Hopkins. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
Well, Boston College is trying to bring pressures from the perimeter of the field. A lot of these corners are blitzing, and they're not getting there fast enough to Taj Boyd. If you can't get there, at least you got to bat the ball down.
Boyd, nice fake again, and he picks up the first down. Dives down to about the 15-yard line for a gain of 5 more. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter, with Clemson on top of Boston College by a field goal.
I mean, clearly, Clemson's game plan involves Taj Boyd running that zone read option play, and he has found a weakness keeping the ball on his own.
We'll step aside. BC paying the price for giving plus territory field position up. Football weather here in New England as we're set for the start of the second quarter. Boston College and Clemson in an ACC matchup. And Clemson back in the red zone. 1st and 10 at the 15. Taj Boyd over the middle, easy touchdown. Walking into the end zone is Sam Cooper, the tight end.
Well, Clemson, they throw so many different formations at you, play actions, trick plays. Watch this formation. You've got an offense. The route come from here up the middle of the field. Everybody's look, excuse me, that was the tight end actually coming right over the middle of the ball. Boston College is looking around. Where's the ball going? Why is that guy out there? And sure enough, able to catch him off guard.
Clemson takes a 10-point lead. Both of the touchdowns set up with the short field and defensive stops against BC deep. You know, the Clemson fan base, they're a little touchy about their defense. You give up 70 points last year in the Orange Bowl to West Virginia, and you start off the year the way they have. Their defense has a lot to say about this 10-point lead.
Well, when we talked to Brent Venables, their new defensive coordinator, he said, look, we're going to simplify things on a young team, let them go out there and just play football, tackle guys. And they're doing that today. They're playing better, fundamental, sound football. They're covering guys in the backfield. They're not doing a whole lot. They're just playing better football.
BC walks right down the field on their first offensive possession to take the lead, and Clemson has now come back to flip the script, 17 unanswered points. And their defense has pinned BC deep a couple of times. 2 bad punts as well, not changing field position. And if you give the Clemson offense, as good as they are, short fields to work with, you're going to pay the price, and Boston College has. High short kick, Evans at about the 14-yard line. Out to the 27 before he's brought down by Latique Townsend.
Well, this is a drive here for Boston College where they need to respond. They need to answer with some points, and not only that, they've got to get some first downs and give their defense kind of a chance to catch their breath against this Clemson offense that we've seen do so much. I would like to see Boston College go back to trying to establish that run. They had some success with it on the first drive, but they haven't been able to do it since then.
Toss to Andre Williams. He's hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Jonathan Meeks brought him down for maybe a half-yard gain as we go back to Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you. Just to look at what's going on elsewhere on ABC, Ohio State leading Michigan State by 4, a 7-3 ball game. And over on ESPN News, Cincinnati leads by a field goal over Virginia Tech.
So it's a 10-point lead for Clemson, and they've got Boston College now in 2nd down and long. Dudek motions out, 5-man rush, Reddick under pressure, and he'll do what he can just to pick up a few yards. The blitz came off the edge. DJ Reader was there to bring down Chase Reddick, and now it's 3rd down and long, 3rd and about 8.
Here's a look, watch the edge rusher right there. Chase Reddick trying to battle, excuse me, that wasn't him, that was number 42, Corco Wright. Actually came from inside the linebacker spot. And that was one thing Boston College was concerned about, protecting Chase Reddick. They felt like this was going to be one of the stronger pass rushes they would see this season. Right there, you see why they were concerned.
Reddick is number 1 in the ACC in passing. And now a timeout called by BC on offense before 3rd down and 9.
First charge timeout.
Clemson has all the momentum back in their favor, and we'll step aside for just a moment. Welcome back to Boston College. Bob Wischusen, Danny Cannell, Maria Taylor with you as Chase Reddick and the BC offense, after putting together a terrific opening drive, struggling of late, and they have 3rd down and long, Danny, coming up.
And this is a critical 3rd down for them. This is one of those danger zones, too. You've got a 3rd and long. As a quarterback, if you're Chase Reddick, you want to keep this drive moving, but you cannot afford a turnover in this situation.
BC tries to spread Clemson out on 3rd down and 9. Tigers rush 3. Reddick well protected. Wobbly throw to the far side left, incomplete. The flag comes out. Boston College gets a break. Darius Robinson on Bobby Swigert, and Robinson will be called for the flag.
Well, they had the matchup they wanted up top. Swigert against Robinson in a one-on-one.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 35. Spot foul, automatic first down.
Chase Reddick knew exactly where he was going with the football, just a comeback route. Let's watch number 21. He sees it, he breaks on it. Did he get there before the ball? Maybe a split second, and that backhand, that right hand, a lot of times defenders like to use that as a safety valve, kind of feel that receiver. Looks like he did get there a little bit early.
BC tries to go quick, and they were not set. This is going to come back no matter what happens. It's a nice strike thrown by Reddick to Alex Amadon, but Boston College was not set at the snap. So that'll most likely be a 5-yard penalty against BC and back them up 1st down and 15. And Reddick a little shaken up on that play as well.
He got drilled.
Illegal motion. Number 83. 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay 1st down.
You can see Coach Frank Spaziani trying to encourage his teams. Here's a look after the play. See Chase Reddick fall a little bit awkwardly on that right arm. Shaking it off, getting back in the huddle. That was a missed opportunity right there for BC. They got the call go in their favor. Had a nice passing play down the field, and then to see that come back, that's a tough one to overcome.
They tried to snap it quickly and weren't set, so it's 1st and 15. Reddick with a play-action fake, well protected. Lobs it downfield towards the sideline, intended for Coleman, incomplete. He was blanketed by Jonathan Meeks. It'll be 2nd down and 15.
Well, you could see the look on Chase Reddick's face that he just didn't have anything there. A wise decision. That's kind of the decisions he's making this year that are showing maturity as a quarterback. Didn't try to force the ball anywhere, just threw it away, and you live to play another down.
Well, in spite of the penalty for Clemson and giving up that opening drive, they have been terrific defensively over the past 10 minutes of game time or so. They allowed 35 second-half points to Florida State in the loss last week. 667 total yards. Not so far today. Blown up in the backfield is Andre Williams by Xavier Brewer. A loss of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 18.
Well, now you can see Clemson's defense getting more and more confident. There's number 9. Watch him on the safety blitz. And to get a little lucky, too. You run the counter right into him. That's half the battle sometimes as a defensive play caller or an offensive play caller. You have to get lucky. That time they dialed up the perfect blitz.
Boston College got a 3rd down conversion a moment ago with the pass interference call. Now it's 3rd and 18. 4-man rush. Reddick with a bullet over the middle, right at the 1st down marker to Alex Amadon. It depends on the spot. The official from the near side looks to be running in as if he's going to be very close to the 1st down. The official from the far side, though, spots the ball clearly a yard shy. 4th down and 1. And will BC go for it on their side of the 50? It looks like they will.
Got their offense on the field right here. I think in this type of situation, you're going with Clemson. You've got to assume this is going to be a high-scoring affair if you want to stay in the ball game.
Is this a hard count, or will they snap the ball?
I think they'll give it a shot.
4th and 1. They do snap the ball. It's a toss to Williams. Cut back. Very close to the 1st down.
Well, it's going to come down to the spot, which looks pretty good from here.
Stephon Anthony, leading tackler for Clemson, came up to make the stop, and that is right down our yellow 1st down line. If we've got the mark right, and usually we're pretty good with that yellow line, then Boston College picks up the 1st down on 4th down, but they're going to have to run the chains out to measure.
You asked me, is Boston College going to go for it? I think that you've got to go with your gut, but you've also got to look at Clemson's defense, who's ranked 100th in the country against the rush, and say, hey, we've got to be able to pick up a short yard.
They come up short. Stephon Anthony creates the turnover on downs, and Andre Williams can't pick it up on 4th down and 1.
The other thing you got to take into consideration, the last 2 times they've punted, the ball has been right there anyway. There's a look. You see the 1st down marker in yellow, and that ball is short of that mark. So pretty good job by the officials of spotting that ball correctly.
So the Clemson defense, which is one of the most beleaguered units in the country, and they have given up yards by the bucket load. Certainly from last season, what is in the memory of Clemson fans is that Orange Bowl loss, and then a boatload of yards as well to Florida State. They played great here in the 1st half. We'll step aside. The Clemson Tiger defense has been the story in the 1st half so far. They give up a touchdown drive to Boston College to start, but now Danny Cannell, another drive that will begin in plus territory for the Tigers. And they'll run a little flip back to Taj Boyd, looking for the home run. Double coverage and an interception inside the 10-yard line. Wow. Sean Sylvia picks it off.
That might be one of the best catches of the weekend you'll see by anybody, wide receiver or defender. Sean Sylvia with the diving catch for Boston College. That was pretty impressive right there. He's fired up as he should be. He laid out with the trick play here. Clemson out of the Wildcat. Andre Ellington's going to take the ball from the snap. And that's Taj Boyd up top. They're going for the double pass. Probably a bad decision by Taj Boyd to throw that ball.
He made up his mind that he was going downfield.
Yes, he
Boston
did.
College was not fooled at all by the misdirection. Threw it right into double coverage.
Here's one look at Sean Sylvia. Comes across, lays out. I mean, typically guys on defense, they play defense for a reason because they can't catch. Sean Sylvia has proven that theory wrong.
Only the 3rd interception this season for Taj Boyd, so Clemson turns it over. BC has it back. The force and effect of a punt, though, in terms of changing field position, as Boston College has it inside their own 10-yard line. 2nd down and 8. Williams, nothing there. Let's go back to Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you. We head between the hedges. It's Tennessee at Georgia. Here's Todd Gurley on the carry, his second rushing touchdown of the day. And Georgia leading the Tennessee Volunteers 21-10. And over on ABC, Ohio State still 7-3 over Michigan State. Bob?
All right, Wendy, well, it's 17-7. Clemson on top of Boston College, and the Tigers have BC pinned at their own 10-yard line again. Third down and long, 3rd and 8. BC still looking for their first third down conversion. Reddick steps up in the pocket, guns one over the middle, and he's got Spiffy Evans for a first down out to the 37.
Boy, Chase Reddick, the last 2 throws that he's made on 3rd down, he has rifled that ball down the field. And this throw had some juice on it. And that's one of the reasons he's leading the ACC in passing. He's got an offense that utilizes his ability to throw the ball vertically down the field.
So a gain of 26 on 3rd down and long. Another play-action fake. Reddick wants to put it up again. He goes down the sideline for Amadon. He's got it in stride. Inside the 15-yard line before he's run out.
Well, a couple drives ago, you saw, watch the route here. He's going to fake and go. The double move, sells it beautifully. Number 17, Bashad Breeland jumped all over it. Chase Reddick hits him in stride. What a wonderfully executed double move by Boston College. A huge play, and Boston College is knocking on the door.
The first big play of the day for Alex Amadon, already up to 66 yards receiving. He's number 1 in the ACC at 122 yards per game. Turning the corner is Andre Williams. Inside the 5, and it's 1st and goal.
Jake Sinkovic, the fullback, really did a good job sealing the edge, allowing Andre Williams to turn that corner. And this Boston College offense is looking for a running back to take over the majority of the load, and that's what they need Andre Williams to do, to step up as that workhorse in this offense.
Williams stays in as the primary back, 1st and goal. BC goes with the unbalanced line. And they'll run it that way. And Williams gets stood up, lost a yard. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Gang tackled by a Clemson defense that has given up a few big plays, but boy, just like lightning a moment ago, it's 3rd down and 8 for Boston College back at their own 10-yard line. 3 snaps later, it's 1st and goal.
When you saw it, Bob, they tried to shift over into a heavy set and really overpower the right side of that line, but Clemson's defensive front doing a great job penetrating through the offensive line. Now they're doing it back to the left to a normal set.
Play action for Reddick. To the goal line, incomplete, over Sinkovic's head. Now it's 3rd down and goal at the 3.
That's another play where Chase Reddick, it's not going to look impressive on the score, but watch this play. As he's sitting in the pocket, if you don't throw the ball now, you've got to get rid of it. He throws it away. He didn't try to force it anywhere. A lot of this offense is rhythm-based. You're going to take that 5th step, hit your back foot, throw it now, maybe check a check down. If it's not there, you've got to get it out of your hands.
Clemson has their nickel group on the field. Play action fake for Reddick on 3rd and goal. Waits for Amadon through the back of the end zone. Instead underneath, it's Jonathan Coleman for the touchdown.
Well, watch where Jonathan Coleman, watch him go through all this wash and come across the field. Clemson just cannot find him. You see the play action in the backfield. Here comes Coleman, pops open late, and Chase Reddick with another bullet right on the money to number 14, Jonathan Coleman, and BC is right back in it.
Not 100% sure that wasn't intended for Amadon. Amadon was in the exact same window running along the back of the end zone, and Coleman slipped up the seam right in front of him. Might have taken away his touchdown. Here's another look. There's Coleman. There's Amadon.
Either way, it's a touchdown.
And BC answers. We've got a good one here at Chestnut Hill. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by 5 Hour Energy. And some energy back for the Boston College Eagles. Sean Sylvia, his first interception of the season. And that set up the touchdown pass from Chase Reddick to Jonathan Coleman. That's the 3rd time those two have hooked up this year for a score. And boy, Danny, that's a big momentum shift. At the start of that drive, BC was pinned back at their own 10-yard line, 3rd down and 8. A few big plays later, they end up in the end zone.
I think that's a big difference in this Boston College team, just where they are mentally. I think in years past, if they had that type of, those 3 series where they looked so bad, the fans would have started grumbling. There might have been some guys with their heads, hanging on the bench, but they just keep coming at you.
Strong kickoff this time from Nate Freeze, forces Andre Ellington to take a knee. Tomorrow is the Monster Mile at Dover, where points leader Jimmy Johnson is right at home on one of his favorite tracks. Hot on his heels, though, Brad Keselowski, Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. The chase for the Cup continues. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Dover, presented by GoDaddy.com, tomorrow at 1 on ESPN. You can see Jimmy Johnson in first as the chase continues.
I want to see if Denny Hamlin guarantees any more wins. That was pretty impressive a couple weeks ago. Cohen is shot.
1st and 10 for Clemson at their own 25. Taj Boyd, a little wide receiver hitch, blockers out in front of DeAndre Hopkins, and he picks up 5 yards. We talked about, as you said, the attack nature of the BC offense, and that was something that Bobby Swigert mentioned in the local papers, that in years past, BC's offense would have been, hey, let's just try and not screw this up for the defense. But they're going to have to go toe-to-toe. You have to know with the Clemson Tigers today. A little shake and bake by Ellington. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Clemson can score points.
Without a doubt. And really, when you look at this matchup coming into this game, you felt like if Boston College was going to win, it would have to be a high-scoring affair, and they would have to go toe-to-toe with them. And BC's offense is showing a new look, and they are impressive. And now they're facing a 3rd down defensively that if they can prevent this Clemson team from, get them off the field.
3rd down and 4. Boyd out of the pistol. Under pressure. Drags a tackler about 2 yards shy of the 1st down. Josh Kai is there to bring down Taj Boyd. And it will be 3 downs and out.
Well, I thought for a second Taj Boyd was going to carry Josh Kais for the 1st down. He jumped on his back. Finally was able to get him down, and that is a big 3-and-out force by Boston College defense. The Clemson talks about wanting to get that first down of every drive.
Spencer Benton averaging about 43 yards per kick. Forces Spiffy Evans into a fair catch at the 31-yard line, only a 36-yard punt. Boston College back to the offense when we return.
Welcome back to Alumni Stadium, and Trace Redding has proved that he can put together a great touchdown drive. I've noticed him building the chemistry with the wide receivers on the sideline right before their last offensive series. He sat right down next to Alex Amadon. Jonathan Coleman talked to him about the upcoming series. You can see he's really trying to continue to build chemistry and rhythm within that receiving corps.
How much, Danny, do you take the chemistry that Reddick has built with Jonathan Coleman and Alex Amadon, and now you throw Bobby Swigert back in there as well? This could be a pretty good passing attack for the rest of the year.
Without a doubt. You see why they're leading the ACC.
They'll run a little option flip on the end around. Swigert wants to throw it. Finds Spiffy Evans in double coverage at the Clemson 40-yard line. And injured back in the offensive backfield for BC is Tavares Barnes.
A little trickeration right here for Boston College. Chase Reddick working down the line. And I thought this was going to be an interception, but watch. Spiffy Evans cut right in front of the defensive back, aggressively goes and gets the football, doesn't wait for it to get to him, but went and got that ball. That was the difference in that being a huge play for Boston College or a turnover.
Tavares Barnes shaken up. Swigert has the completion. We've seen Chase Reddick, though, with plenty of completions. And you mentioned earlier the simplification of the Boston College offense. He wears the wristband, but the language has really been made much more understandable. And you actually spent some time yesterday with Chase Rettig in the film room, and here's a good example, I think, of the simplification of that Boston College offense.
I played in some systems with some longer terms. Ace right trip, flip it, wing opposite, Q hot Louis, half 17, wing and Y out. How do you call it here?
This would be R strong, quick one, flat.
There you go. It can't get easier than that. You got to love that at the line of scrimmage.
And, we talked about that earlier. Just being able to spit things out quicker, they just make more sense. Instead of telling everybody what to do, you're just giving a picture to everybody, so everybody kind of knows their assignments. Flip one flat. That's a pattern. It's not having to tell everybody half 17, wing and Y out. Everybody has to be on the same page. And it's just like learning different languages. It's French, English, Spanish. Some languages are more complicated than others. And I always was a firm believer, as simple as you could keep it for the offensive players, the better.
Well, when you said yesterday to Chase Rettig, you kind of drew that play on the board and said, well, here's a play that we used to run. This is in the system I used to run, all of the language necessary. Why is it that some offenses are so verbally complicated compared to if you can simplify it down to that, and it's the exact same play call basically for Chase Rettig, but with maybe 1/4 the verbiage?
It's coach's preference. You have different offensive coordinator. Chase Rettig has played for 4 of them. So he's seen the gamut. He's seen complicated terminology and simplified. It's all in coaches what they want to put, what kind of load they want to put on their players.
Well, the simplification for Chase Rettig has certainly worked. And BC 1st and 10 with a draw play. Andre Williams inside the 40 to the 38, a gain of 2. Jonathan Willard, Stephon Anthony, combined on the tackle.
A lot of offensive coordinators want to tell each receiver specifically what to do so they can't screw it up. I have a lot of faith in the Boston College offense that they can learn things a little bit better than some teams in the country, that they can learn just a pattern by a couple routes and instantly know where everybody's supposed to go.
Play action for Rettig on 2nd and long. Here comes the blitz. Down the sideline, and it's underthrown. Intended for David Dudek on that little wheel route, but Rettig had to force it with Tony Stewart coming on a blitz as we go back to Wendy.
Bob, thank you. We go back to Athens, Georgia. Tennessee hoping to avoid an 0-2 start in the SEC, but it's not looking good here, thanks in part to Todd Gurley, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the day, 51 yards. It's 27-10, Georgia with the lead.
A much closer game here at Chestnut Hill, only a field goal separating Clemson and Boston College. 3rd down and 9 for BC, and they have to hurry. Getting set at the line with the play clock down to 5. And now a timeout will be called from the sideline for BC.
Boston College. 2nd charge timeout.
A 30-second timeout. We'll step aside as well and come right back to Chestnut Hill.
Clemson Tigers. Bring it 110%.
A cloudy day here in Boston. Clemson up by a field goal over Boston College. The BC cheerleaders, though, they're hardy. You get the cloud cover, mid-50s, a little rain, some wind, and they're not out there in the sweats.
I think that was a good timeout by Boston College. They were rushed at the line of scrimmage. This is a big 3rd down, and it's possibly 2-down territory where they are. They might want to have that conversation.
They split out Jonathan Coleman, 3rd down and 9. They'll run it with Williams. Close to the 1st down. It'll be 4th down and a half yard just inside the 31. And you would think undoubtedly Frank Spaziani will go for it.
Well, that's why I was saying that. In that situation, I think offensive coordinator Doug Martin is saying, hey, we don't have to put this ball in the air. If we're going to have in our mind that we're going to make this a 2-down situation where we have 2 downs to get the 1st, why not try to slip a run in there? And that's exactly what they did. A lot of open gaps on that play. They were able to gash him for 8 yards right there.
BC missed on their last 4th down conversion attempt. They're 1 for 2, 4th down and 1. Play clock down to 4. Reddick calls for the ball. They get the play off. Here comes the blitz. Reddick beats it to Amadon. Amadon at the 5. And 4th and 1 becomes a touchdown.
So what an impressive throw and catch by Chase Reddick and Alex Amadon.
So Boston College takes the lead back. That makes it a 4-point advantage. Couple of touchdown passes here in the first half for Chase Reddick. That's the 2nd touchdown reception of the season for Alex Amadon.
Here's a look at the touchdown play. It's just a simple, flat, slant route combination. Watch Chase Reddick. He patiently waits for that flat route defender to clear and delivers a perfectly thrown ball right in stride to number 83, Alex Amadon, for the touchdown. That was a very mature throw right there. There was no panic by Chase Reddick. Had plenty of time to make that throw. This was a route combination that I talked to Chase about yesterday, and he said was his favorite one. We saw them hit it a bunch against the Miami Hurricanes, and he felt like, again, it would be something they could use successfully today against Clemson.
Well, Frank Spaziani told us Tom Brady had 6 offensive coordinators. Chase Reddick is on his 4th. Obviously, we have seen success in New England with offensive systems changing. You bring in Doug Martin this year, and in one training camp, basically, Boston College has their pass game rolling. A cutback by Andre Ellington. Out to the 23-yard line on the kick return. A doubleheader is coming up. ESPN College Football Primetime. Number 4, Florida State, and top-ranked Alabama. Part of the doubleheader at 6, E.J. Manuel, the 4th-ranked Seminoles on the road. It'll be a jam-packed stadium in Tampa as the Seminoles take on USF, and then Ole Miss and Alabama at 9:15. All of that available tonight live on the Watch ESPN app and part of Tailgate Week. Fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. We've got an injured Boston College Eagle, but what about the challenge, Danny, for your Seminoles tonight as they take on USF? It's a sellout at Raymond James Stadium. Kevin Pierre-Louis is the player that's down for Boston College. It'll be an unbelievable atmosphere, but you have to think it'll be almost half Seminole fans there, wouldn't it? That's probably why it's a sellout. The Noles fans are making the ride.
60 or 70%. It's gonna be a good test for Florida State too, to see if there's any hangover effect from a huge win against Clemson. I want to show you something on this last play, Bob, the last touchdown play. We've drawn it up one more time. Watch, it's mirrored routes on each side. Flats. Watch this safety. That's who Chase Reddick is going to key. He's on that. He's cheating towards that left side of the field. He's plenty of depth there. He knows he's got the one-on-one outside. And look at this passing lane right there. Delivers it perfectly in stride. That, in case you were wondering, Bob, because I know you love terminology, that was 200 Jet Dragon. Nice and simple, easy play call to spit out.
If you're Jonathan Meeks, the safety, where should you have been?
Well, it was a single man free, so he is supposed to be that last line of defense. You've just got to come up and make that tackle. That was his mistake.
So now can Clemson answer before halftime with 4 minutes to go in the first half? Taj Boyd on a keeper, loses a couple of yards. Sean Duggan comes through to make the stop for the Eagles. And they give Taj Boyd about the 22-yard line on the run. A loss of a couple, 2nd down and 12. Kevin Pierre-Louis injured on the kickoff return, so he's on the sideline. Duggan takes his place and makes the tackle. Boyd, high throw to the sideline. He's got Hopkins for a first down.
Clemson answered right back. The Boston College home crowd was starting to get into it, feeling a defensive stand coming up. But Taj Boyd showing why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC.
Taj Boyd pulls it down and spins for about 4 yards. Taj Boyd held a players-only meeting after the Florida State loss, and it was interesting talking to Dabo Swinney this week about his reaction to Taj Boyd calling that players-only meeting. We'll talk about that more after 2nd down and 6. Wide receiver screen caught by Humphries, and it looks to be good for a first down by 3 or 4 yards. So Clemson moves the chains into plus territory.
Yeah,
what was your reaction to Taj Boyd gathering his teammates after the Florida State loss?
I was impressed. I was a little bit surprised they do it so early in the season. I mean, usually it's, after you've lost a couple games, 2 or 3 games, there's more of a sense of panic. But I think Dabo liked the sense of urgency.
Another wide receiver screen to the far side. Humphries has it. And when Dabo Swinney was asked about it as far as we were concerned, he said, I think it's great.
Yeah, he loved it.
Ownership. These guys are ticked off. They lost to Florida State. They're not happy about it. And anytime you have leadership and ownership from your players inside your locker room, and certainly from your upperclassman quarterback, he thought it was nothing but a good thing. BC late getting set, 2nd down and 3. Ellington brought down about a yard shy of the first down by Nick Clancy. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Right now, defensively, Boston College is really almost playing a prevent defense, really far off the ball, and Clemson is just peppering these short, quick passes, taking those easy throws.
Ellington on 3rd and 1, follows his blockers and has a first down easily. About 7 yards for Andre Ellington behind David Beasley, the left guard.
But really, this is Boston College's game plan. Their defense coordinator, Bill McGovern, said, hey, we just don't want to give up that big play.
Ellington again. Another strong run. Close to another first down for Clemson.
When you talk about a prevent, defense, you're not seeing many blitzes here. They're rotating some guys off the field to try to get some fresh bodies to generate some pass rush. But they're going to have to start bringing some linebackers and trying to pressure Taj Boyd.
Now it's Roderick McDowell in the pistol behind Taj Boyd. McDowell gets the carry. And he picks up about 1.5 yards or so. 2nd down and long. Kieran Borsich made the tackle for Boston College as we come up on 90 seconds to go in the first half.
And when you've got an offense like Clemson who likes to stretch the field vertically, it's almost tougher. They don't like to operate in confined spaces like they are now down in the red zone.
Actually marked McDowell down for no gain. 2nd down and 10. Boyd, a little flip to the tight end, Brandon Ford. He gets pounded down at the 10-yard line. Steele DeVito came up and made the tackle. Very close to a first down. And it looks to be good enough for a first down, 1st and goal for Clemson.
When you've got a name like Steele DeVito, you better be able to drop the hammer, and that's exactly what he did on the end of that play. Perfect name for an outside linebacker.
Still a gain of 10, 1st and goal. Finding a crease down close to the 5-yard line goes Roderick McDowell. He'll be brought down at the 6, where it will be 2nd down and goal.
And this is pretty much Boston College's game plan. Hey, let them drive the length of the field. We'll buckle down when it comes into the red zone. Try to force them to kick field goals. Easier said than done, though. There's a lot of weapons out there you got to run with.
Clemson still with 1 timeout, so in spite of the fact there's 40 seconds, they can run the ball here. They'll do just that with Ellington. Can't move the pile inside the 4, and now Dabo Swinney runs down the sideline, and Coach Swinney will call timeout before 3rd down and goal.
On this type of offense, a minute is a plenty of time. I mean, 30 seconds, they could run 4 plays the way they go.
Clemson, 3rd and final timeout.
So let's head back to the studio and check in with Wendy.
Reset the game clock to 30 seconds.
Coming up on our Discover Card halftime report, a record-setting day for Geno Smith that's sure to heat up the Heisman hype. We'll check on the Buckeyes on the road in East Lansing, as well as our SEC showdown in Athens. I'm joined by Todd McShay and Robert Smith coming up at the half.
All right, Wendy, thanks very much. Only 30 seconds away from halftime here at Boston College. 3rd down and goal for Clemson, just inside the BC 5. And Danny, 30 seconds to go. Clemson out of timeouts. but you have to think that still the entire playbook is available. You can fire drill your field goal unit out there if you need to,
easily.
if you ran the ball and came up short.
Easily. I think in the systems I've played in, it was around 18 or 19 seconds that was typically the time you could run a play and then run on your field goal team. So there's plenty of time for them to do that. So the running, you could slip in a draw and try to catch Clemson off guard, see if you can catch an easy one.
Let's see what Dabo Swinney and Chad Morris dial up on 3rd down and goal. 13th play of the drive. Boyd on a rollout. Fires it right at the pylon, and the ball pops out. Will they rule it a completion? Yes, they will, for a touchdown for Clemson. They will say that Brandon Ford held onto the football and completed the catch. Let's see if replay buzzes down, and it looks like they will all automatically say, let's go up to the booth and just make sure.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. That play is under further review.
C.J. Jones was there in coverage. Brandon Ford credited with the touchdown. Let's take another look.
Well, I think Brandon Ford clearly had possession. You see him right there. There's a foot in bounds, and then watch when he flips this ball around. Watch, it actually hits the official. He's got it in his hand, and the official's arm actually kicks the ball loose. I think he clearly had possession. I think this play could have been a lot easier for Clemson had Taj Boyd hit that route on time. He was a little bit late to that throw in the flat. But nonetheless, I still think it'll be a touchdown for Clemson. There's one more look at it outside.
Well, certainly he's across the line.
Yep.
Obviously, he dragged the foot. So inbounds and in the end zone, not the issue. And did he complete the catch and have total control? It'd be hard, as he clearly has the ball in his hand, if they rule it an incompletion because the official on the far side knocked it away.
Right. That's why he came up without a doubt and signaled touchdown.
There has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. So it looks like Brandon Ford will pick up his 4th touchdown catch of the season. And that will put Clemson back on top before halftime. A 13-play touchdown drive as the ruling stands now for the Tigers. You always wonder how a team is going to bounce back after a really emotional loss.
Here's one more look at this quick touchdown. I thought Taj could have thrown it about 2 or 3 steps earlier. See him here, he's just a little bit off timing. The longer
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
So it is a Clemson touchdown. Certainly looked like the right call. And the Tigers take the lead. After the Clemson defense allowed 35 points in the second half, blowing a 2-touchdown lead at Florida State last week and dropping to 17th in the poll, they've gone back and forth here with Boston College on the road in the first half, and they take the lead back by a field goal.
Well, there's a look at what offensive coordinator Chad Morris talked about, getting that first down of every drive. You see the result when they do get it. When they don't, 3 times, 2 3-and-outs with an INT as well. He said when they get that first down, they're about 62% they score, so they're doing even more impressive than that this afternoon.
Brandon Ford, of course, trying to replace Dwayne Allen and make Clemson fans as best they can forget a terrific tight end, while Ford is off to a great start this year, 3 touchdown catches. Second leading receiver on the team, in spite of the fact that Sammy Watkins, we mentioned that earlier, starts off the year with a 2-game suspension. And now an abdominal virus keeps Sammy Watkins, who was the all-everything freshman receiver for the Tigers last year, home. They're still putting points on the board as they lead BC 24-21. Spiffy Evans on the squib kick return gets outside and steps out of bounds at the 41-yard line with 14 seconds to go, and BC with a timeout.
That may not look like a lot, but by getting that return there, you've got 14 seconds with a timeout. You can work the middle of the field. You can get a quick timeout, possibly get a long field goal attempt, or take a shot at the end zone with a Hail Mary. Number 14, Jonathan Coleman, is 6'4". They throw something up for grabs. probably would be that guy.
Chase Reddick under some pressure, over the middle, wide open is Coleman. He needs to get down on the ground with a flag down as well in the offensive backfield. 4 seconds to go in the first half. BC is in field goal range if the play stands. This might be coming back.
Holding. Offense, number 59. 10 yards from previous spot. First down.
So wipe away the 33-yard gain to Jonathan Coleman.
Number 59 right there. You see him against the defender, pushing him right out of the screen. Clearly had him wrapped up, basically tackled the defender in the backfield.
That's the center, Andy Gallick. It's a pretty even first half, I would say. 257 to 257 in terms of total yards.
And imagine that, if they hadn't had that penalty, they would have kicked the field goal there. The game would probably be tied.
And now it looks like Frank Spaziani saying take no chances after the 10-yard hold, and it'll be a field goal margin at halftime. That was a fun first half.
It was. I think Boston College answered the bell. There was a gut check time there, 3rd and 8. They were backed up. The game looked like it could have gone Clemson's way. Should be an exciting second half.
Let's go down to Maria.
Coach, you go into halftime only down a field goal. What's going to be the difference in the second half for your team?
Well, we have to play better defense. That's the first thing that has to happen.
What would you say, or how would you assess the performance of your quarterback, Chase?
Well, we think we have a good quarterback, and he played well. I mean, you know, he's a good quarterback, and he made some plays.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Maria, thanks very much. A field goal margin at halftime as we go back to the studio and Wendy Nix. Wendy?
This halftime report is presented by Discover Card. It pays to switch. It pays to discover.
It's halftime in the Heights. The Clemson Tigers, with a last-minute touchdown tail end of the first half, they lead 24-21.
Welcome back to Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
From Boston, this is the ACC on ESPN. And this is college football presented by 5 Hour Energy. All a part of Tailgate Week. Fired up by Kingsford Charcoal as we're set for the start of the second half. Bob Wischusen, Danny Cannell, Maria Taylor. And it's a field goal game at halftime. BC down by 3. They open the second half with a big return from Spiffy Evans. Got to about the 30-yard line. Is this first defense to get a couple of stops in the second half wins?
It sure feels that way, doesn't it? I mean, we're seeing an offensive display by both teams, and it's going to be interesting what type of adjustments they both make coming out at halftime. Clemson early in the game was having some success getting to Chase Reddick, rattling him a little bit, getting some hits on him. They're going to have to try to generate that, or else he's going to sit in the pocket and pick them apart. And then for Clemson, I think you've got to make them drive the field. We talked about that in the first half. Try to get them down in the red zone and then force them to kick field goals if you can.
Chase Reddick looking downfield, fires to the sideline, and that ball is dropped. Sliding attempt for Amadon as we head down to Maria.
Yeah, guys, I had a chance to catch up with Coach Sweeney after this first half, and he basically said that his team is doing a good job offensively, but they're going to have to weather the storm because this game is going to come down to big plays. He also said his secondary has to stop letting people get inside of them. But ultimately, guys, he said his team has got to be able to weather the storm here in the second half.
It was a storm of BC yards from the time that Boston College was down by 10. And on second down and 10, they'll run it with Andre Williams. He turns the corner, but a flag is out, so this is coming back. Emmett Cleary, the left tackle, immediately knew he was the guilty party. And it'll be second down and 20 for Boston College, back at their 20.
They're going to get their left tackle.
Holding. Offense, number 77, 10 yards from the previous spot. Still second down.
Boy, that's their senior captain, number 77 right there, Emmett Cleary. Let's keep an eye on him on that play. Watch that left hand. You saw that jersey of number 93, Corey Crawford. Clearly a holding call right there. And from Emmett Cleary's reaction after that penalty was thrown, you knew he was a guilty party.
So second down and 20 for Boston College. David Dudek back in the game. The true freshman running back to the right of Reddick. Reddick wants the screen, flips it. Dudek makes the catch and makes a man miss. About 8 yards for Dudek. It'll be 3rd down and long as we take a look at some of our first half numbers. And Taj Boyd with close to 160 yards passing, matched by Chase Reddick with 170 yards passing.
A lot of offense put up by both of these two quarterbacks, dueling for who might have the most impressive year in the ACC so far. The story of the game is going to be which defense does come up. I think you were right, Bob. I mean, that's going to be the difference in this game is who can force a turnover, who can force a couple 3-and-outs in a row.
3rd down and 12. Tigers bring a blitz. Reddick under pressure, and he's going to go down. Quandon Christian gets the sack. Brent Venables sold out, brought the blitz. And it's 3 downs and out for BC to start the second half.
Watch all the pressure come from this side of the screen. Quandon Christian, number 34, sets up the tackle outside, slipped underneath. Chase Reddick really nowhere to go with that football. A good defensive stand for Clemson.
Gerald Lovano did not punt the ball well in the first half. And a fair catch called for by Adam Humphries and made at the 43-yard line of Clemson. Only a 36-yard punt to start the second half.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Back here in Chestnut Hill. Back to work goes Taj Boyd. Quickly to the edge to DeAndre Hopkins. Makes the first man miss and picks up 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4. C.J. Jones missed the tackle at the line of scrimmage. Boston College has kept DeAndre Hopkins at least under control. Here's Ellington. A little cutback. He's got a first down and then some. Ellington all the way to the Boston College 35-yard line.
Well, Andre Ellington picked up a great block from his tight end, Brandon Ford. But the incredible balance and agility from Andre Ellington. Looked like he was about to go down, was low to the ground, kept his balance, and picked up a nice gain.
15-yard gain to the BC 35. Boyd a play-action fake. Wanted to go over the middle. And now down the sideline for Hopkins. At the pylon, is he in? Out of bounds. Taj Boyd had a walk-in touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins and floated it just close enough to the sideline that Hopkins couldn't stay in bounds.
Boy, they had a layup right there. DeAndre Hopkins got behind the defense about as wide open as you can get. The throw took him out of bounds. You can see he's aware of it, trying to keep his foot in bounds. And man, that is about as close as you'll, maybe he did have that toe in bounds. They're going to have a look at this.
This will be reviewed. It looked like it might have been a touchdown.
An incomplete pass. That play is under further review.
Do you see just a little bit of Boston College maroon in between the sideline and the foot of DeAndre Hopkins? This will not be a look that will answer the question.
No, but how about the body control and the field awareness of DeAndre Hopkins, knowing exactly where he was? I tell you, it looked like he had possession of the ball and a toe in bounds.
Let's take a look here. Has the football. That's a touchdown. No doubt about it.
That is a touchdown. They thought they missed a layup. I think they're going to get this back. They're going to put these points on the board. Here's the best look at it right here. Ball is caught. It's possessed. There's the left toe inbounds. Clemson fans here in Boston are starting to cheer.
And well, they should. It has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, and it's hard to argue that that was not indisputable. Looks like Dabo Swinney's team is going to start the second half with a stop on defense and a touchdown.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
Really? If I am Dabo Swinney, I am as confused
yes, you can see
as he appears to be.
That look, he is dumbfounded right there. I mean, the whole crowd saw the scoreboard throughout the stadium, which looked very clear that there was a toe in bounds and possession.
We had one look. It didn't even appear to be a toe in bounds. It appeared to be an entire foot in bounds. Boyd knocked down at the line. Ryan Mahalik bats it down. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Ryan Mahalik, 6 feet 8 inches tall, 285 pounds, getting that huge wingspan right in Taj Boyd's face. But, you know, you go back to that, what should have been a touchdown from the review, everything we saw. And Clemson has got to kind of keep those emotions in check right now and convert this 3rd down.
Taj Boyd, 3rd down and 10, rolling out. They'll try and run for it. Hammers his way down the sideline, and it looks to be good for a 1st down. He ran over Steele DeVito. That's a strong run from Taj Boyd.
Taj Boyd had 3 Boston College defenders converging on him. He knew where the chains were. That is why Taj Boyd is the leader of this Clemson team. Not only the offense, but the entire team, offense and defense.
1st and 10 inside the 25-yard line. Ellington turns the corner. Gets bumped out after a gain of nearly 5. Josh Keyes, C.J. Jones out on the edge. Just outside the 20-yard line goes Ellington. 2nd down and a long 5. And now Boston College calls a timeout on defense.
Boston College. 1st charge timeout.
Clemson on a march, looking to extend their lead. A moment ago, replay upheld a call on the field. No touchdown for DeAndre Hopkins. Here's what we've been told. When he makes contact with the pylon with his foot before the ball arrives, technically he is out of bounds once he knocks the pylon over. So that was why the call on the field stood. 2nd down and 6. Taj Boyd swings one wide to Jerron Brown. He's about a yard shy of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down and 1. C.J. Jones made the tackle. Check that, Jerome Peak on the reception for Clemson. 3rd down and 1. Draw play. Right up the middle goes McDowell. Into the end zone with a touchdown. Roderick McDowell extends the Tiger lead. It's a 10-point advantage for Clemson once again. An 8-play touchdown drive. Finished off by Roderick McDowell, but kept alive by Taj Boyd.
Wow.
Danny, this 3rd down scramble after the knockdown a few moments ago might have been the biggest play on the drive for Clemson.
Oh, without a doubt, there's Ellington there. Excuse me, Roderick McDowell finishing off the drive. Clemson with a 10-point lead.
Clemson gets the first defensive stop of the 2nd half and turns it into a touchdown. Again, great field position off of not only a defensive stop, Danny Cannell, but also a punt by Lovano that doesn't change field position, and the Tigers are back on top by 10. Mile-high kick that comes down about 4 yards deep and forces Evans to take a knee. So Chase Reddick back out there, and Danny Cannell's been watching the arm strength of the BC quarterback.
Well, really, the reason this Boston College team has stayed competitive in this game is because of number 11 for BC. Here at 3rd and 18, fires one over the middle, came up just short. That right there, 3rd and 8, was probably the throw of the game. There was a time there, felt like Boston College was about to get beaten down pretty good, and then, of course, finished it off with a touchdown pass. Pretty impressive day for Chase Reddick.
1st and 10 for Boston College at the 25. Andre Williams for 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. We've got games tonight. Tailgate week fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. And it's primetime tonight for number 4 Florida State in Tampa to take on USF. And Ole Miss in Tuscaloosa to meet number 1 Alabama at 9:15. A doubleheader coming up tonight on ESPN. 2nd down at about 6. On the ground to Williams again. Nothing there. Lost 1.5 yards.
Yeah, the running issues for Boston College continue. They've tried to establish the run. They've tried to find their workhorse in Andre Williams, and excluding the first drive of the game, really have not been able to establish that. And yet, they've tried it. There was a drive in the first half. They went 3 consecutive runs and out. Here they went 2 consecutive runs, and we'll see what they do on 3rd down. You've got to get a sense, though, in this type of game, you've got to go with what's working, and that's the passing game.
That's 3rd down and 8. Certainly a passing situation here. Reddick, 4-man rush. Well protected. Swings it to the freshman, David Dudek. He's up the sideline, out of bounds, right at the marker. And it looks to be good enough for a 1st down. Let's see where they mark him out. Travis Blanks made the stop. He's a half-yard short.
Well, I tell you what, I know he's a true freshman, number 26, David Dudek, but you got to know where those yard markers are, that 1st down yard marker, and leave no doubt that you had enough to get it.
We've seen Boston College go for it a couple of times today, but this, even on 4th down and about a foot, too risky for Frank Spaziani inside his own 35-yard line, so he sends out the punt unit. Adam Humphries is back to receive the kick of Lovano. And Lovano has struggled to change field position. One of his better kicks here. Humphries fields it in traffic with BC defenders right in his face and goes down at the 25-yard line. Sean Flaherty downfield to make the tackle. And Monday Night Football is back, of course. Monday Night Countdown kicks off our coverage on Monday at 6:30, served by Applebee's. Then at 8:30, Jay Cutler and the Bears visit Tony Romo and the Cowboys. Monday Night Football, Bears, Cowboys, 2 nights from now at 8:30 on ESPN. A couple of quarterbacks that have taken their shots this season in the media. Tosh Boyd on a rollout. Tipped ball, incomplete. Steele DeVito provided some pressure and may have deflected it. Brandon Ford, the intended receiver.
This is a situation in the game. If you're Boston College, you got to be real careful because this can get away from you in a hurry. This is a critical defensive stand for BC to try to get Clemson's offense off the field without any points.
2nd down and 10. Wide receiver screen to Peak. And Boston College bottles up Sharon Peak after a gain of 4. Josh Kai's there to make the tackle, so a big 3rd down here. 3rd down on a long 5, close to 6.
Now, I would expect BC to try to get some pressure, maybe bring some linebackers, blitz somebody off the edge, try to force the issue a little bit. But then you put a tremendous bind on your secondary.
Clemson is 7 for 10 on 3rd down. Taj Boyd buying time in the pocket, throws it away. And that may not have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Was he still inside the pocket? There comes the flag. It looks like they will call it intentional grounding on Taj Boyd.
Intentional grounding. Number 10. Spot foul. Loss of down. 4th down.
That's a big call, as this is going to back Clemson up inside their own 15-yard line to punt.
That is a tough call right there going against Clemson, but Taj Boyd, you've got to find a way to get it near that line of scrimmage. That time, you know, you always hear coaches say, hey, chuck it in the stands. Of course, you don't mean that literally sometimes. That was a loss of 16 yards for Clemson. If you're outside of that pocket, you've got to get it around the line of scrimmage.
And now a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 7, 5 yards, still 4th down.
Well, one of the biggest factors, Danny, in this game from a hidden yardage standpoint in favor of Clemson has been what we're about to see for BC, and that is forcing Boston College to punt it deep and getting really good field position. Another false start.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 7, 5 yard, half the distance to the goal. 4th down.
Dabo Sweeney is all the way down on the 10-15 yard line talking to the official. I think what he's trying to communicate is saying, hey, Boston College is trying to get our guys to jump off sides, trying to maybe get a penalty called against those defenders.
And now they tighten up their punt look. BC comes after the kick. It's a wobbly kick. Fair catch called for and made by Spiffy Evans at the 37-yard line of Clemson. That's a big change of field position. Let's go down to Maria.
Hey guys, I was able to spend some time with the Eagles hockey team around campus. Now, they're the 2012 NCAA national champions and also earned their share of the nation's #1 preseason ranking. So, you know, they tried to teach me how to fire a slap shot. I wasn't very good at it. I should stay off of my skates, but they were also mentioned here at halftime. Obviously, you're national champions there, guys.
Not the first time Boston College has won a national championship in hockey. That was a great group that won the title back in the spring. 1st and 10, Boston College at the +36. Reddick, play action fake. Throws it to the sideline and throws it away. Over the head of Swigert. No one open. Third, it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Boston College with great field position, trying to get a quick score there. And a shot at the end zone wasn't there. Clemson had pretty tough coverage there. Chase Reddick, only option was to throw that ball away.
When Clemson has had the short field, they have turned it into points. Can BC do that now? Reddick locked in on Jonathan Coleman and can't connect. It'll be 3rd down and 10 at the Clemson 36. BC is only 2 for 9 on 3rd down. This might be 2-down territory, or better put 4-down territory at the +36. Comes a blitz. Reddick well protected. Throws it high up the seam, and it's almost intercepted. Gary Peters jumped the route and just about picked it off. Colin Larmon Jr., the intended receiver. Looks like Boston College not in field goal range.
They're in that part of that field, though. That's kind of no man's territory. In the afternoon, they're 2 of 3, 66% on the afternoon. This one's a 4th and long, though.
4th down and 10, and BC will go for it. Reddick, a pooch punt to try and trap Clemson deep. And it works perfectly. Chase Reddick does it all. Out of bounds at the 4-yard line, a 32-yard pooch kick. Bob Wischusen and Danny Cannell and Maria Taylor here at Chestnut Hill. Well, that's 2 stops now here in the second half on defense for Clemson.
Big stops, and really one of the stories of the game so far was the touchdown that wasn't called. It was overruled as an incomplete pass. We thought on the field it was going to be called a touchdown, but we got the rule, so we got the official ruling. We got some technology, so we pulled up the NCAA football rule book. It's Rule 4, Section 2, Part B. And it's out of bounds. A player who touches a pylon is out of bounds. The officials were all over it. He did kick the pylon, though, so they made the correct call.
And Clemson would go on to score a touchdown anyway. And now BC trying to pin the Tigers deep. Andre Ellington stopped for no gain on 1st down. Sean Duggan made the stop. It will be 2nd down and 10. A little shake and bake at the 5. He's out close to the 8-yard line. 3rd down and a long 6 coming up for Clemson.
Yeah, Boston College, the last time they were faced with this situation, they stayed with a zone defense and just did a better job covering Clemson's wide receivers and making open field tackles. If they want to stay in this game, they've got to get this Clemson offense off of the field.
action for Boyd. Goes for the home run for Hopkins. He's got it. Dragged down at the BC 35 from behind by Manuel Esprilla, who saved the touchdown.
Well, this was defensive coordinator for Boston College, Bill McGovern. This is what he had nightmares about this week. Do not let Clemson get behind you. All they did was run DeAndre Hopkins on a post route, and the speed just took over.
Ellington for about 2.5 to 3 yards. Gang tackled at the Boston College 32, and that puts Clemson at 365 yards of total offense without Sammy Watkins. And we're barely past the midway point of the third quarter. Four-man rush. Taj Boyd, all the time in the world, throws it over the head of Brandon Ford and out of bounds. Back to Wendy.
Bob, thank you. And we go back to East Lansing. Ohio State on the road at Michigan State. Here's Braxton Miller to Devin Smith. The pass is complete, 63 yards. This game over on ABC, and Ohio State has a 4-point lead, 17-13, and we are tied up between the hedges. It's 30-all, Tennessee and Georgia.
It's a 10-point game, Wendy, here at Chestnut Hill. 3rd down and 8 for Clemson. Taj Boyd stumbles, checks down to Ellington, and BC stops Clemson on 3rd down. Now Clemson in the same position that BC just was. 4th down and 5 at the Boston College 30.
Well, we know Spencer Benton's got plenty of leg earlier this season with a 61-yard field goal from an ACC record. I know he has plenty of leg. But it's still that area of the field, that no man's land, where you definitely think about going for it. And he's going to get a long attempt here.
Instead, it's Chandler Catanzaro. His long of 50 this year. So this is within his range. A 47-yard attempt for his 17th consecutive field goal. And now they'll line up and possibly fake it, or they're just trying to draw Boston College offside.
Or another pooch punt.
Did BC call timeout? Did the play clock wind down? I think the play clock might have wound down. It's delay of game.
Prior to the snap, delay of game. Offense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
So Dabo Swinney tries to call the trick play on special teams. Now it's 4th and 10 at the 35. Now will he just change kickers? Will Spencer Benton try a long field goal?
Bring in the long leg.
Or will he punt it away? And it looks like he's going to line up to try and punt it now.
Play a little field position, try to pin BC back.
BC drops Spencer Rositano back inside the 5-yard line. And this, a wobbly kick, angling to the far side left, and just lands inside the pylon and goes out of bounds for a touchback. So Clemson only nets 15 yards on the punt because of the touchback. 5:21 to go in the third quarter. And the Tigers still on top by 10, but BC gets a stop defensively. For Dabo Swinney, is it almost outthinking yourself? If you kick the field goal there from 47 yards out with a kicker that's shown leg.
Yeah, take the points, keep the pressure on Boston College, who hasn't been able to do much.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 73, 5 yards, still 1st down.
So now BC backs up. It's 1st and 15. If you make a field goal there, it's a 2-touchdown advantage.
And Boston College hasn't shown much. They've had a great first half. They haven't done much the second half. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think they should have at least tried the field goal there and tried to move that, increase that lead.
10 yards total in the third quarter for BC offensively. Back run for Williams. Good for a couple of yards. Josh Watson tripped him up.
You know, we talked about this earlier in the third quarter. You know, they want to run the ball, but I think there comes a point in time where you just abandon it and you say, look, we're having success. We've got a quarterback with a hot hand. We're going to have to get into a shootout to stay in this game. Let's go with what works. I know what their philosophy is. They want to have a balanced attack, and you do. You know, if the game is early in the game, you're trying to establish things. But right now, Boston College has success through the air and not on the ground.
Reddick back to the far sideline. About 6 yards shy of the first down to Amadon. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for BC at their own 24. Boston College now 54 yards rushing on 24 rushing attempts against a Clemson team that came into today 103rd in the country trying to defend the run.
Yeah, Boston College has had their share of issues at the running back position. Just have not been able to find that consistent workhorse back there.
Tigers show blitz on 3rd down and 6. They rush 4. Williams picks up the blitz, and Reddick throws it right into the hands of Rashard Hall. Rashard Hall with a flag down, out of bounds in the red zone. His 13th career interception. And that flag came out well after the interception on the return.
During the return, holding, number 11, 10-yard foul from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Well, we talked a lot about Chase Reddick's arm, how strong it is, and this one right here, he rifles over the middle, but it gets away from him as you let this play roll. Chase Reddick feels the pressure, moves to the left, fires it. It's like a high fastball, and Amadon kind of got caught up in the wash. And of course, that ball hit Rashard Hall right in the numbers for the return. But really looked like Alex Amadon, the intended target, got into some contact with the defender, got thrown off his route. Clemson with a big turnover.
Ellington up the middle. Moves the pile to about the 30-yard line, a gain of 3. Dylan Quinn tripped him up. It'll be 2nd down and 7 as that takes us down close to 3.5 minutes to go in a 3rd quarter where it seemed like BC had Clemson's defense on the ropes when we went into the locker room at halftime, having come from a couple of scores down in the 1st half. Taj Boyd right up the seam, and that is good for a completion. Spinning off Jerron Brown. Lost the ball in the end zone. BC's got it. They might mark him down at the 1. It's going to be 1st and goal, Clemson at the 1-yard line. He will be marked down by contact before the ball came out. And I think Dabo Swinney wants to go quickly.
Yeah, they got a fire
Running
call.
on the field as the player's knee was down. 1st down.
Will replay buzz down?
They probably should, just to make sure they get the call right. But there is the knee down.
No question.
Yep.
So they run the play up over the pile into the end zone. Goes Andre Ellington for the Clemson touchdown. The Tigers get the takeaway, and they turn it into points. And it has been all Clemson here in the 3rd quarter. The Tigers on top now by 17 with 3:07 to go in the 3rd.
Andre Ellington going up and over Boston College defense. Clemson leads by 17.
Andre Ellington with his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And Clemson outscoring Boston College 14-0 here in the 3rd quarter. And the Tiger Band and the fans, there are a bunch that have made their way up to Chestnut Hill to watch their team on the road after a tough loss and a game that Dabo Swinney and the coaching staff talked about they really felt they had in their grasp at Florida State. They've bounced back with a pretty good effort this afternoon here at BC. McCaffrey will have to take a knee. That'll bring it out to the 25 as we check in with Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you. Just a look at what's going on elsewhere on ABC. Ohio State still leading Michigan State by 4. On ESPN, it's South Florida leading Florida State by a field goal, but early in that game, And on ESPNU, Cincinnati 13, Virginia Tech 7.
Well, here at Chestnut Hill, it is Clemson by 17. Can their defense protect the lead? They were not able to protect the lead on Saturday night in Tallahassee. BC keeps it on the ground with Andre Williams. No gain. Deshaun Williams, the first man there, again for Clemson. He has had a terrific afternoon.
You know, it's interesting because Brent Venables was starting to get some heat from the fans, the media there in South Carolina, the Clemson faithful. But you've got to remember, and both Dabo Swinney and Brent Venables said, hey, we played one heck of an opponent in Florida State on the road. And, you know, there are a lot of teams that are going to get run over by Florida State this year. They just had a tremendous amount of talent.
BC only has 19 yards this quarter. Reddick again, second and long. Underneath. Catches made by Swigert for a gain of nearly 5. It's another third down coming up for BC.
Well, we talked about the importance of Clemson getting that first down of every drive. This third quarter, Boston College has not been able to mount any sort of offensive drive whatsoever to kind of give their defense a chance to catch their breath. You can see the look of frustration on Frank Spaziani's face.
Well, those numbers will do it to you, especially when you're a defensive coach and your offense is 2 for 11 on third down. 3-man rush. Reddick over the middle. Hamadon's got it. And BC's now 3 for 12 on third down.
Well, even Frank Spaziani at halftime when he was walking in talking to our Maria Taylor said, hey, we've got to play better defense in the second half. Of course, that's why one of the reasons he's not happy right now, because he hasn't seen that at all.
Well, there's a lot of time left. It is a 17-point game, but still over a quarter to play. Reddick on a play-action fake. Clemson not buying it. He throws it over the head of Sinkovic to avoid the sack. Grady Jarrett never took his eyes off Reddick and came up the middle and forced the throwaway.
Well, the drives that Clemson has been able to stop Boston College, they've been able to get pressure on Chase Reddick, force him out of his rhythm, force him to throw the ball away, and basically just hit him before he has a chance to survey the field. And that was an area that Brent Venables, the Clemson defense coordinator, talked about. He said, I need my players to play up front with violence and wreak some havoc up there. They're doing that better today than they have all season.
Reddick, comebacker for Hamadon, catches it on the back pedal, and they will give him the catch inbounds at the Clemson 42. Working on Bashad Breeland.
That was a back shoulder fade route, which is the toughest ball to defend as a defender. Bashad Breeland was in good position, but you just throw that ball on a rocket to that back shoulder, that right shoulder of Hamadon, and really, as a defender, you have no chance because you can't find that ball. It comes quick. You think you're in good coverage, and bam, it's on you.
It's a gain of 20. And now BC will call a timeout. With 43 seconds to go in the third. Those are timeouts that when you're down 17 could be precious later. To spend one after picking up a first down. That is tough as BC's now down to 1 timeout remaining. So they've got a first down in plus territory. And it's time now to take a look at today's Dave and Buster's playbook, Danny.
Well, there was a huge third down play for Clemson, backed up in their own end zone, coming out. And there goes DeAndre Hopkins, never a doubt which route he was running. Taj Boyd, never a doubt which route he was throwing. Threw it on perfect rhythm. Got behind Boston College's defense for the huge gainer. And that was a critical situation. Clemson was coming out of their own end zone. BC needed a defensive stand. And for them to take that huge shot was really a dagger for BC.
Well, for Dabo Swinney's team, what do you think it says about them to lose the way they did on Saturday night, now to come on the road, to find out 3 days before they're coming here to BC that they'll be without Sammy Watkins because of the virus, and to still put up without by far their best offensive weapon, 400 yards of offense through 3 quarters.
Well, I think it shows you how far he's taken this Clemson program to where they're more consistent.
After the BC timeout, a ball fake by Reddick. He wants the home run. He's got Amadon free. Touchdown. Just when you talk about the effort in the 3rd quarter of the Clemson defense,
as we were
expertly
singing.
placed announcer Jenks, I would say.
Yes.
I apologize to the Clemson fans. It's back to a 10-point game. What a day it's been for Amadon.
Well, let's look at that touchdown play. It was a great play action, but watch the guards pull. It's a heavy run formation, and then here comes the post route across the field. Great protection up front. A great run look, too. The linebackers, everybody bit up, safeties. Chase Reddick delivers a bullet down the field, hits Amadon right in stride. Here's a look at Alex Amadon. He just runs straight across the field, knows exactly where he's going, stems it up. Just that little hesitation at the defender held him off, and that's about as open as you will get. A 42-yard touchdown for Alex Amadon.
Amadon now up to 7 catches, 176 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
You know, he was added late to the Fred Biletnikoff Award, which is the award for the best receiver in the country, and he's going to be climbing that list each week if he keeps putting up numbers like that.
Well, he came into today number 4 in the country in yards per game at 122. He's got 176 today. And number 8 in the country at receptions per game at 8.3, and he's got 7 catches. And a good kickoff that pins Ellington up against the sideline, and he does a good job to get all the way out close to the 25-yard line. It's an excellent return by Ellington as he was right up against the sideline on the catch. So now can BC's defense get a stop against Clemson's offense? They have not been able to stop the Tigers in the second half. Boyd swings one wide. About a 3-yard gain to peak. And that might take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. See if Clemson gets another snap off before the clock runs out here in the 3rd. It'll be 2nd down and 7. And the clock goes to all zeros just before the snap. A 10-point lead for Clemson here at BC as we head to the 4th quarter in Chestnut Hill.
Welcome back to Alumni Stadium, and even though Boston College just put together a great touchdown drive, head coach Frank Spaziani was not that amused. He immediately turned to his defensive backs, told them they need to have good eyes and that this Clemson offense is coming straight for them. Guys, you can tell Spaz is definitely a defensive coach.
With a head coach's mindset. Doesn't celebrate the touchdown, right, Danny? As soon as it's over, he goes over to his DBs?
No, he's not celebrating until this game is over and they have a win, so he obviously is keeping his team focused at the task at hand.
Start the 4th quarter with Taj Boyd going back to work. Up the sideline, climbing the ladder and making the catch is big. But check that, Jerron Brown. That's good for a 1st down. We talked about how important second half defensive stops were going to be in the shootout that we expected, and we've gotten that.
Absolutely, but you see the challenge there. I mean, just that last pass, a perfect example. You see the type of athleticism that Clemson has. Jerron Brown going up the ladder to catch that. Boston College defense was in good position, just couldn't make the play on the ball.
Boyd threw one behind Hopkins. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Let's go back to Wendy.
Bob, thank you. It's a Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. West Virginia put on a show. They beat Baylor in a shootout, but it was Geno Smith who's the man of the hour. 656 yards and 8 touchdowns. He broke any number of school records as his team moves on after beating Baylor. Bob?
Well, putting on a show this afternoon is DeAndre Hopkins. He has another catch and another Clemson first down to the Boston College 36. 17 more yards on the hookup. Taj Boyd to DeAndre Hopkins.
And here comes Clemson already at the line of scrimmage with the pedal to the metal.
Boyd over 300 yards. And now it's Ellington. Stood up. No gain on first down. Sean Sylvia came up to make the stop on Andre Ellington. But by the way, DeAndre Hopkins now 8 catches for 143. So it's been a show between Hopkins and Alex Amadon. BC brings a blitz. Boyd goes up top at the goal line, walking in with a Clemson touchdown. Again is DeAndre Hopkins.
Early in the game, we saw BC run a double move. Watch number 6. Fakes inside on that slant route and then takes it to the end zone. That's a little slant and go for the touchdown.
And an answer by the Tigers. As soon as BC makes it a 10-point game, Clemson comes back and stretches the lead right back to 17. We expected a shootout. We have certainly had that, and the stars today have been DeAndre Hopkins and Alex Amadon.
Really impressive numbers by these two wide receivers. Running crisp routes, getting great yards after the catch for their quarterbacks. It must be nice to be Taj Boyd and Chase Reddick.
Well, it's an embarrassment of riches for Taj Boyd, too. Sammy Watkins, home with the virus, unable to play this week. Spiffy Evans out to about the 24-yard line. And let's check in again with Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you. Apparently it's shootout Saturday. Let's go back to Georgia. Remember, Tennessee in town. Aaron Murray here airs it out to Michael Bennett. 32 yards, 43-30, Georgia. But then Tennessee with the answer courtesy of this Cordero Patterson reverse. Look, tucks it, and he is gone when he gets to the end zone. It's a 43-37 ball game. Georgia with the lead.
Wendy's right. It must be offensive Saturday. I mean, the Baylor, West Virginia had over 1,500 yards of total offense.
Trace Reddick wanted to go up top on that snap, but the pocket eventually collapses. That's a coverage sack. Good job by Clemson in the secondary as Vic Beasley eventually brought down Chase Reddick for a 2-yard loss. He wanted Jonathan Coleman down the sideline, and Rashard Hall was over the top with coverage, and Coleman couldn't shake free.
They have done a better job of getting after Chase Reddick, harassing him in the pocket, forcing him to throw some balls away, and just getting hits on him. Those start to add up. They start to take their toll on a quarterback in the pocket.
2nd down and 12. Still a lot of time left, but a 3-possession game. Draw play. Williams. Hit from behind, spins forward for a gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Again, it's Vic Beasley making the tackle for the Tigers. We've had well over 800 yards of total offense between these two teams. But Boston College, if there's an area they have struggled, it's on 3rd down. They're only 3 for 12. Reddick, Spiffy Evans has the first down.
We almost get surprised when somebody that's not named Alex Amadon catches the football for BC, but it is important that you start to spread the ball around because, of course, defenses are going to start making adjustments. They're going to start double teaming your best wide receivers, so you've got to have some other guys take the load off.
Reddick down the sideline looking for Amadon again. Off his chest and incomplete. Rashad Breeland was there. And it looked like he had pretty good coverage on Alex Amadon.
Well, he was Rashad Breeland was who got beat on the double move earlier in that game. Watch the end of this play, running stride for stride. Gets just enough of that right hand to distract Alex Amadon from making that catch. Pretty good defense. Good. He was in good spot to defend it, and then, of course, made a good play on the ball.
Second down and 10. Here comes the pressure. And shaking free is Bobby Swigert. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line, and BC wants a horse collar tackle as well.
Well, number 12, Stephon Anthony, had a hand on the horse collar and actually let off. He realized what he was doing, prevented the penalty from coming. You'll see at the end of this play, Chase Reddick finds Swigert coming right at you out of the backfield. And then a pretty smart play by Anthony. Watch him right here. He's trying to make the tackle. Tackle has that and then lets go to avoid the penalty.
So Chase Reddick is now over 300 yards passing as well as Anthony's over on the sideline. Both quarterbacks have thrown for 300 plus. Reddick steps up. Incomplete. Intended for Amadon. It'll be second down and 10.
And again, number 17, Rashad Breeland in coverage on Alex Amadon. That's 2 plays in a row. He's been able to blanket him pretty successfully. And I mean, you got to remember, Brent Venables still very new to this Clemson team, still figuring out which players he wants to put in which spots. And it's just going to take some time for his team to get comfortable with his schemes, to gain confidence in what they're trying to do.
And they're a really young defense as well. Just a young team for Clemson. Reddick comes back to at least his second, if not his third option. A gain of 7 as he found C.J. Parsons. And tomorrow, it's the Monster Mile at Dover. Points leader Jimmy Johnson is right at home on one of his favorite tracks. Hot on his heels are Brad Keselowski, Tony Stewart, and Dale Jr. The chase for the Cup continues. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Dover, presented by GoDaddy.com. Tomorrow at 1 on ESPN. Big third down here. Third down and 3. 4-man rush for the Tigers. Check down underneath to Dudek, and that is good for a Boston College first down to the Clemson 27-yard line.
On this drive, Boston College able to get a couple more third down conversions and keep those chains moving to sustain a drive. And now that they're down, they're trailing by a significant amount. They are starting to go towards the air more, which is where they've had their success. So they're starting to move the ball again.
Now the clock is winding down, but it is keeping BC's defense off the field as well. Reddick, another check down to his tight end, C.J. Parsons.
Still plenty of time.
Maybe a yard. Looks like they'll actually knock him down for no gain. Rashad Breeland there to make the stop. And it looks like Breeland's slow to get up. Rashad Breeland is injured. Breeland only a sophomore. Last year, a couple of interceptions as a redshirt freshman. So Clemson with an injury in the secondary as we step aside.
ESPN College Football is presented by 5 Hour Energy. Hours and hours of energy.
When you tailgate at Boston College, it's not just burgers and dogs. We showed you the lobster before, but on a cool rainy day here in New England, you got to have the chowder as well. We actually had a nice big pot, steaming hot New England clam chowder here in the booth, and some ESPN executives made the drive from Connecticut today to visit us and ate it all. So thanks for leaving us none.
I'll let you complain.
Yeah, just brutal. Second down and 10. Reddick with a pump fake. Comes back to the near side, across his body, and it is underthrown and almost intercepted by Rashard Hall. Intended for Spiffy Evans. It'll be third down and 10.
Chase Reddick hasn't made many mistakes today, but that was one of them. He got away with one. That ball should have been intercepted. Kind of in a desperation type heave sort of situation. Didn't have a whole lot. Tried to trust his receiver to make a play.
Boston College might be in 4-down territory here as well. It's 3rd down and 10. They're down by 3 scores, one of which could be a field goal, but we'll see what they opt to do if they don't pick up the first down here. Reddick feels the pressure, throws it across his body and finds Spiffy Evans. And he is short of the first down. Reddick got popped by Rashard Hall, who came with a blitz, and he is down.
Well, when Chase Reddick was scrambling around, I didn't know if he saw that Clemson defender coming at him.
Now Spiffy Evans is hurt as well.
Here comes the pressure from the outside. See him, number 31, on a full sprint. Chase Reddick looking to the left side, catches him at the last second. Here's one more look. You see where Chase Reddick is looking left, and the pressure's coming from the right. And that hit him right, right in the gut check. Probably looked like he might have got the wind knocked out of him.
Now here's something vital. It's 4th down and about 5. Reddick, by being injured, the trainers come out. He might not have just gotten the wind knocked out of him. Now he has to come off the field. So now even if Boston College thought about going for it on 4th down, they're not going to do that with their backup quarterback, as Spiffy Evans is also helped off. So now you're really compelled to settle for the field goal attempt, and this is a pretty solid field goal attempt for Nate Freese of about 40 yards.
But I think that was still, that play right there might not look like a whole lot, but those extra 5 yards there that they picked up were huge for this field goal attempt.
Rather than even thinking about going for it, though, a 39-yard attempt for Freese. He's 7 for 7 on the year. And make it 8 for 8. So Boston College has made it a 2-possession game with 9:18 to go. Welcome back to college football, presented by 5 Hour Energy, as tailgate week fired up by Kingsford Charcoal, and we have fired up the scoreboard today. Chase Reddick knocked out on that 3rd down completion. Seems to be fine. BC down by 2 touchdowns. He kicks it deep. Here's Ellington. Andre Ellington breaks a tackle. He breaks another. Great return. Out to the 37-yard line as we go back to Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you. We go back to Athens. We showed you Tennessee score. Well, 2 plays later, Georgia had an answer in the form of Keith Marshall. He breaks off for 72 yards, also had another 75-yard run. Georgia pulled away now, 51-37 in the 4th quarter. Over on ABC, a 1-point game. Michigan State trailing the Buckeyes, 2 minutes to play in the 4th quarter.
All right, Wendy, as Clemson on the ground to start this drive, a gain of only 1 for Andre Ellington. And Danny Cannell, our game really hinges on whether or not Boston College can do something that they have not been able to do at all here in the second half, and that is get a defensive stop against Clemson. Do you alter your strategy if you are Bill McGovern and BC?
I think you take a few more risks. I think you start sending a couple more blitzers, try to pressure Taj Boyd, force some errant throws.
Taj Boyd, little pitch to the outside. About a yard shy of the first down is Adam Humphries. So it's 3rd down and 1 at the 46.
Clemson has done that at least 10, 12 times this afternoon. Just popping it out, those little quick hitting screen passes, and every time they get 6, 7 yards a pop. I mean, that's just a perfect supplement for your running game. You've got to get those corners up. The problem is when you get those corners up, Clemson tries to take a shot over the top.
And now the Tigers letting the play clock and game clock wind down a little bit. Play clock down to 7. It's about as deep as you'll ever see Clemson go before snapping the ball. 3rd down and 1. They run it with Ellington. And he moves the pile close to the first down. We'll have to see where they mark him. The line judge from the near side running in looks as if he's going to mark him short. BC might have gotten a 3rd down stop.
It all comes down to where that ball is placed on the field.
Oh, that is very close. They will have to measure. It looks like the nose of the ball is shy of our third down line.
If they are short, it'll be interesting to see what Dabo Swinney does here.
And they are going to be short by 6 inches.
And they only have a couple inches to go. Dabo Swinney is more of a risk taker. He likes to put a lot of faith in his offense. Interesting to see if they try to cap this game off, because if you get this first down, you can start milking even more of that clock.
If you don't get this first down, then you're down 2 touchdowns if you're BC, but you're starting in plus territory. Will he leave his offense on the field? It looks like Dabo Swinney is going to go for the knockout punch.
I just know him and the way Chad Morris, his offensive coordinator, the way they think. They're very confident in their offensive ability.
Will this be a hard count? Or will Clemson snap the ball on 4th down and a foot? They will snap the ball. Give it to McDowell. Very close. Nick Clancy came up and brought down Roderick McDowell. But where? It looks to be right on the line of scrimmage line, short of the line to make.
Wow, what a big play for Boston College. A slew of defenders there at the point of attack. And once again, it all comes down to where that ball is placed on the spot.
Boy, with a 2-touchdown lead, midway through the quarter, going for it on 4th down on your own side of the 50. That is an aggressive call for Dabo Swinney, and it backfires. BC has it on downs. Nick Clancy got the stop on Roderick McDowell.
Here's one more look at the defensive stand for Boston College. Here goes Roderick McDowell, tries to go low, but look who's waiting for him. Number 54, Nick Clancy. He's leading the country in tackles per game. That is exactly the man you want in that spot. Comes up with a huge stop for Boston College.
The 5th-year senior gets the stop, and Boston College can get themselves right back in the game. Chase read it deep to the sideline. He's got a hookup. And an extra 15 will be tacked on. Gary Peters threw Amadon out of bounds. 1 snap, and Boston College is going to be down in the red zone.
Boy, what a big-time throw, too, across the field. About as long as a throw as you'll have to make. And then Gary Peters, number 26, you saw him.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 26. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Here's a look at the end of that play. Amadon brings it down. Gary Peters watched a little extra throwdown at the end there. The officials are going to call that every time.
Boy, there is still a ton of time. Over 7 minutes to go, and Boston College inside the 15-yard line. Amadon is wide, out to the left to the top of your screen. The quick toss to Andre Williams, and he ends up going backwards, loses 5. Stephon Anthony comes through to make the tackle.
And once again, I just don't know why Boston College is trying to force the issue. They're trying to run a sweep to the left. Pretty good penetration. Number 93, Corey Crawford, was in the backfield. 3 or 4 yards deep back there. And Boston College's inability to run the football has me wondering why they keep trying to do it. Just go to the air. It's what's working.
Not even averaging 2 yards a carry as a team. 4-man rush. Reddick slips it to the outside. Caught by David Dudek, but a mild gain at best. Might not have even picked up a yard. Breland came up to make the tackle.
Rashad Breland's had a pretty nice half, both in pass coverage and in open field tackling like he did there.
Well, Boston College will be compelled to go for it on 4th down. If they don't pick up a first down, they can get a first down inside the 4-yard line, but it's 3rd down and 16.
Oh, and this is where if it's 2-down territory, you want something positive. If you don't get a touchdown, at least make this a better situation on 4th down.
Reddick to Amadon, and that is intercepted. Gary Peters atones for the personal foul, jumps the route, and gets the takeaway for Clemson.
Well, that was the identical route that Alex Amadon had run before, what they had success on, and Gary Peters, well, we saw it after the play. Watch the play. Alex Amadon just going to run a little post corner out route. Number 26, Gary Peters, you see him, great break on the ball, cuts right in front of the route. That is solid defense for Clemson, coming up with a turnover.
Let's take a look at our hardest working player, brought to you by Polaris. And this is a hard-working run from Taj Boyd earlier.
Taj Boyd on a critical third down. Didn't see anything through the air, so tucks it. Watch 3 Boston College defenders converge on him. The contact is made with 4 yards to go to the first down marker, and he puts his shoulder down and gets it on his own. Really impressive.
So Boston College now needs a takeaway of their own. Andre Ellington with about 1.5 yards, and BC with only 1 timeout remaining too. So we talked about those timeouts earlier that they spent at times where they might need them late, especially at the time when they were down by 17. Now they're down 14, and Clemson can really work on the clock. Boyd on a rollout, slings it up the sideline, dragging the toe is Hopkins. And it looks like it's a good catch. It is.
Boy.
First down out to the 30-yard line.
Those officials were communicating on the sideline, having a conversation to see if they were both on the same page. Ultimately came up with a decision. It was a catch right in front of the BC staff, too. They're going to have a look at this, I believe.
Ruling on the field is a completed catch. That play is under further review.
This is a big call.
Yes, it is, because that ball, if it's incomplete, stops the clock. Ooh.
Did he drag the toe? Very tough to tell.
And was the right foot down before the left? He's got possession.
You could see,
Ooh,
I think, just a little bit of that rubber fill.
I think so.
I think that's a catch.
Boy.
I think that's a good call by the officials. And yeah, my first reaction would be, not to mention the fact that it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, and the precedent set on the field was a catch. I don't see how you overturn that one.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough evidence to overturn it. That was about as tough as call as you have to make. But I think the officials did get it right in a split bang-bang decision right there. I think they got the right call. Watch the dirt kick up on that right foot right there.
Just a little bit.
Just enough.
That's all you need.
A couple grains.
Now, if this is a call that's upheld on the field, that's a 17-yard gain for Hopkins. That would make it a 10-catch, 195-yard day for DeAndre Hopkins, and that would be a new Clemson record for most yards in a single game. And this is by their number 2 receiver.
Right, that's what's amazing is how much talent they have on the offensive side of the field. Sammy Watkins was maybe put up one of the best freshman campaigns by anyone in history, and now they've got Andre Hopkins, who's really come into his own this season.
That's a great catch.
Yep. And the great just field awareness. We saw it on the touchdown that was not a touchdown earlier in the game, the call that was overturned because he stepped on the pylon, but just great field awareness, body control.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Good catch.
Well, Dabo Swinney certainly doesn't take his foot off the gas pedal as well. As it's a new school record for DeAndre Hopkins, breaks the record set by Rod Gardner back in 2000 against North Carolina. The old record, 182 yards. So that catch by Hopkins smashes the record. Taj Boyd, a broken play perhaps, and he still turns it into positive yardage. About 3.5 yards. Did he lose the football? BC thinks they have it. Taj Boyd coughs it up, and it's not over yet.
Oh, Dabo Swinney is not going to like that. Broken play from the beginning. You saw the indecision out of Taj Boyd. Turned around, thought there was a back in the backfield. And that's what you're supposed to do as a quarterback, is you're just supposed to follow the run. And here he is, the end of that play. Actually hits his own offensive lineman. That ball is clearly on the ground. Here's one more look at Taj Boyd. You see him towards the end of that play. You've got to wrap that ball up, especially at this point of the ball game. and it looks like it got knocked out by number 70, Gifford Timothy.
The ball out. Sean Duggan the recovery, and now they might go to replay once again just to confirm.
Ruling on the field is a fumble. That play is under further review.
And this is worth reviewing.
Yeah, and
because, I mean, this is the game.
Because look at where BC is going to get the ball, right?
No question.
They can score quickly and get the ball back. But once again, from the review, I didn't see anything that would say that it wasn't a fumble.
Here's an angle we have yet to show you. And we'll see if this makes it even more conclusive. And no question,
There's
that
the ball
is
on the
out.
ground. No knee down. That ball is clearly on the ground.
So Boston College is going to get the takeaway. Or better yet, maybe the giveaway by Taj Boyd as he ran into Gifford Timothy, his right tackle.
In that situation, it's called a 4-minute drill. There are a couple rules. One of them is anytime you're carrying the ball.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Fumble, first down, Boston College.
Anytime you're carrying the football, you wrap it up, 2 hands on it. You cannot expose that football to a turnover. Now, once again, Clemson's defense put in a bind here. Come up with another stop.
So BC has to have 2 touchdowns. And Reddick underneath. A gain of 6 yards to his tight end, Brian Miller. It'll be 2nd down and 4, and Boston College has to go hurry up.
Going no huddle. And I would hope they call exclusively pass plays here, too. Maybe slip a draw.
Reddick, all kinds of time, lobs it to the sideline and throws it away. Tavares Barnes brought pressure. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Once again, 3rd and 4 in this situation. Just want to be smart with the football. You don't have to get it here. It's 2-down territory. If nobody's open, maybe keep it yourself. Try to run it, get it back to the line of scrimmage. But you don't have to get it here.
We head to the SEC next. As you can see, South Carolina and Kentucky just about set to get underway. Reddick behind Amadon, and now it's 4th down.
When you would like to have that pass back if you're Chase Reddick, had Alex Amadon open with some room to run. Just misfired.
Well, one thing that Boston College will not have to worry about here is crowd noise, as their fans didn't quite believe that the comeback was possible. The BC faithful is maybe finding out that they've still got a chance out in the parking lot as it's 4th down and 4. 5-man rush. Reddick throws it left. Knocked away. Terrific coverage underneath by Travis Blanks, the true freshman hybrid linebacker who dropped back in coverage. And the Clemson Tigers not making it easy on themselves, but they dodge another bullet.
Boy, Travis Blanks, number 11. The linebacker, Brent Venables, raved about his potential. You see him get that right hand up, fully extended. That's a linebacker on a receiver, too. That is great defensive coverage right there. You can see why Brent Venables described him as possibly the most explosive freshman he's ever coached.
Taj Boyd on a keeper, throws one down the sideline up for grabs, and it's out of bounds. Puzzling to say the least as we go back to Wendy Nix. All right, Wendy. Since Boston College joined the ACC in 2005, they've played close games against Clemson. 5 of the 7 have been decided by 7 points or less, and now Boyd breaks a tackle, and he's about 2 yards shy of a 1st down. Nick Clancy made the tackle as we take a closer look at Danny Cannell's keys for Clemson.
All right, you see the success they've had when they've got that first down of each drive. I mean, look at those numbers, really impressive. And then on defense, they've gone a little bit more simple schematically, and they've tackled better. They've given up some big pass plays, but for the most part, they've come up with stops when they've needed them, and that's what it's all about. They can iron out some of those issues. They'll get some of the younger talent involved, and when they play with more confidence, they will have more success.
3rd down and 2. Tigers bleeding the clock down. 1 second to go on the play clock, and Dabo Swinney will call a timeout. So with 3:06 to go, Clemson trying to protect a 2-touchdown lead, and ESPN College Football is available anytime, anywhere on your computer or mobile device via watchespn.com and the Watch ESPN app. You can download now at the App Store. And a few folks out there might be watching us on the app as we speak, so welcome if you are. And let's see what Clemson decides to do here on 3rd down and 2, as they have not executed the 4-minute offense to
and
perfection.
I'm sure that's a lot of the conversation that's going on right now with Dabo Swinney and Chad Morris, their offensive coordinator, with the offense. They had the whole huddle over there on the sideline telling Taj Boyd, hey, this is where you got to be smart with the football. Cannot afford a turnover.
Boyd throws it, and tackled right at the 1st down marker is Hopkins. And it looks like he's got it by about a foot.
We have had a lot of plays that have come down to where the ball is spotted on the field. And they are again going to bring out, oh, he got it.
Without
the
measurement.
1st down, yep.
On Clemson's offense, that little wide receiver hitch, we've seen it so often today. That's a pseudo running play, isn't it? That's almost like running the ball on 3rd down and 2.
Without a doubt. And as a quarterback, I used to love throwing that route because they were high completion percentage. And if that receiver breaks one, you get 60, 70 yards extra on your throwing total at the end of the day.
Ask Geno Smith.
Yes.
The numbers he's putting up throwing the bubble screen for West Virginia. That takes us down to 2.5 minutes to go. Ellington breaks a tackle and breaks free. Andre Ellington down the sideline to the 16-yard line before he's brought down by Espria. A 48-yard run for Andre Ellington.
Boy, watch the balance right here. Almost tackled at contact. Looks like he's going to fall forward, keeps his balance, and then turns on the jets. And then the presence of mind to stay in bounds at the end of that run as well.
So that will take us down inside of 2 minutes to go. And barring Boston College spending their final timeout, Clemson at this point can just run the ball into the line and end the game. Now it's Roderick McDowell in at tailback as Ellington's up to 124 yards rushing. McDowell close to the 10-yard line. So the Clemson Tigers about to get their first ACC win on the year, and they have gotten big days from their tailback. And as scary as it is, their number 2 wide receiver without Sammy Watkins here, DeAndre Hopkins, put on a show.
And earlier in the week, we actually had a 3rd impact player in that Sammy Watkins, and without him, still impressive. And what a luxury to have those type of weapons on the field, and a creative mind with Chad Morris, their play caller, who really puts so much pressure on a defense.
McDowell gets to the 10-yard line before he stood up, and it looks like Boston College will spend their final timeout.
There was a lot of talk this week of people wanting to see how Clemson would respond after that Florida State game. You know, would there be a hangover effect? And then when Sammy Watkins was held out of this game due to injury, people were saying, hey, well, now what? Now what are they going to do? But I think this was a big game for Dabo Swinney and this Clemson team. We talked earlier before we jinxed them on the touchdown pass they gave up that that was a statement game for them. And I really think it was, you know, for them to show the ability to bounce back, not to have that letdown. I think that shows that Clemson is one step closer towards being a perennial contender in the ACC.
Well, Dabo Swinney told us you've got to keep it in perspective. Granted, college football, because we pay so much attention to the rankings, it builds up early in the season, ranked team against ranked team. So we've got one loss on the road against a really good opponent, and it's a long season. So you've got to refocus your guys, and maybe Taj Boyd calling that players-only meeting that Dabo Swinney thought was a great move by his junior quarterback had something to do with this team being a little more focused and coming out after halftime and really retaking control of the game in the 3rd quarter. They've had some bumps in the 4th quarter, but they're about to salt this game away with 1 minute to go. Little counter handoff, Ellington spinning towards the goal line. and brought down about a foot shy. So we'll see if Clemson goes for a touchdown here or if they simply take a knee, as they can take the play clock inside of 40 seconds, take one knee and end the game.
Oh, they're going to take a knee.
Classy move by the Tigers, classy move by Dabo Swinney, and a win on the road for Clemson as they bounce back after the loss to Florida State and beat Boston College by 2 touchdowns on the road and even their record at 1-1 in the ACC. So once again, our final score, Clemson over Boston College, 45-31. The Tigers get the bounce back win, and boy, did they get a performance today from DeAndre Hopkins. A new school record for most yards in a single game at 197. Coming up next, it is South Carolina and Kentucky. We head to the SEC now and join Mike Patrick and Ed Cunningham. So long from Chestnut Hill.